something in the Bahamas, and now with a week of run up to Saturday's big game against Louisville, nothing resonates like that. And what Jason Munns and the Commercial Appeal are doing this week in the build up to that game, and his story today on the famous, and that was even before I was a fan. That was about a year before I fell in love with Don Holcomb and the Tigers and Larry Finch and Rodney Robinson the next year, but grew up hearing and learning and knowing about. And I'm sorry for a really nice man that kind of always stayed attached to Fred Horton. But I mean, when you have to go full swinging chair to defend yourself, it was a big moment. And Jason Munns it captured that so well today in the Commercial Appeal, and publicized the story with never seen before photographs.
Oh wow!
And it was true. I'm sure what they have in the archives at the Commercial Appeal would stun us on everything. Release the files. I want to see all the photography files, but Jason nailed it today, and we'll nail it all week, leading up to Saturday. That will be like a college basketball December Super Bowl game between U of L and the Tigers. That's all that's got to be said.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. The build-up's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun game. But you're right, Tigers looked really good against Baylor, and we'll see if they can continue that. You know, we talked even in the preseason about this tough 4-game stretch for the Tigers, and obviously you get the first one checked off with a win. And it's obviously gonna get tougher these next 2 games against 2 teams that have looked really, really good to start the season. You win another one if you can maybe split this 4-game. Little stand here, then I think you're going into conference play with a lot more momentum, already a lot more momentum than you had even just a week ago. So definitely moving in the right direction.
Very much improving. The Grizzlies are hot. Now 11-13. Ja has played in 12. He's missed 12. His return looks like it's going to happen on Friday night. And come on back. Come on back for a lot of reasons. On the floor and in ticket sales.
Definitely.
And to help this team that's improving. Many were very critical early of Tomasi Salo. He is showing that, let me at least have a strong hand before I have to play all these games.
Yeah, definitely figuring things out. And I think this team is starting to figure out, kind of the coaching style and what he wants to do on the court, and it feels like they're starting to work through some of those things. Now, competition's going to get tougher. A lot of these games that they found ways to win have been against some of those lesser opponents, which is, you got to win those games. And
they count too.
No, they absolutely do. And I think it's good to have this type of stretch, have this momentum building, before you get Ja Morant back. It feels like you're really hitting a run. And then, just to add Ja back and what that will do to the team, it feels like you're in a really good spot with the Grizzlies right now.
And when we signed off on Friday, I really thought that Jerry Mack, the Kennesaw State coach, at some point over the weekend, that's who I thought the Tigers were going to name. I never, ever, ever for one second bought into nor wanted Dan Mullen.
Yeah.
It saved me from truly the last Tiger football fan friend I had would have hated me over the next few years. Been hired to Memphis head coach. I don't think it was ever close, and I think they got a great one in Coach Huff, and I'm really excited about it. Of the legitimate candidates, and Dr. Scott had really good choices. It was a strong field of both coordinators and head coaches, established head coaches. I think they got a great one.
Yeah, no, I do too. I think we talked about it. It felt like those were the 2 legitimate names that were going to be out there the entire time in Jerry Mack and Charles Huff. And, we talked about it a lot last week of, for me at least, it felt like that was 1A and 1B. I didn't think that they were going to go in, it would be a bad hire with either of those guys. I thought both those guys would be really, really good hires. It felt like a lot of momentum middle of the week last week into late last week was moving towards Jerry Mack. And then, something happened, late in the week that it flipped and it felt like all the momentum was going in Huff. It obviously got reported early Saturday morning. We just got the official announcement this morning. I think a really good hire and excited for him to to get up here and have his introductory press conference and see what he can do. A lot of work to be done. We're already getting reports on who some of his staff will be, bringing some guys over from Southern Miss, and so a lot of work to do, and it should be a fun next couple of months, see what this Tiger team will look like under Charles Huff.
We're going to get into the college football monster. We're not avoiding it for any reason whatsoever, but I just want to see one thing generationally with you.
Okay.
So the announcement of his election for enshrinement to Cooperstown. For Jeff Kent, when you hear that, does that sound like somebody out of the 1800s to you, or do you remember?
I don't remember much of him. It does not sound like, when I think of the 1800s names, it's those nicknames that it felt like every single baseball player
doesn't sound like old Hoss Radburn.
No, nothing like that. But it didn't really do anything for me when I saw that news.
Well, I remember every ounce of his career, and I must be honest, it didn't do a lot for me. I never watched Jeff Kent during his career. I knew MVP, I knew good player, knew good complimentary player. But if you'd have told me during his career, for any reason whatsoever, he's going to be enshrined into Cooperstown before a guy with 762 home runs, 1,996 RBI, and close to a career 300 hitter in Barry Lamar Bonds, well, I would have thought you were seriously deranged.
Well, hey, here we are. Today's the
day.
We are. We're all deranged, I guess.
Why are we doing this? Why? Roger Clemens with 354 wins. And Barry Bonds, I think the third best player ever.
Yeah.
Second being Babe Ruth, first being Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I really don't understand why we keep doing this. It feels like as a country we all agree that Barry Bonds, steroids or no steroids, was one of the greatest baseball players of all time. So I don't know why we have to play this game every single year of he's a great player,
I don't either.
But he did the game wrong and he can't
Mr.
get in there.
Meanie, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me.
But even at the apex of Jeff Kent's career, never mind that. Now afterwards, even with Hall of Fame designation, and I said it when Ryan Sandberg passed away, either Ryan Sandberg or Joe Morgan were the best two that I saw play. I would throw in there Roberto Alomar. I saw the end of Bill Mazeroski, and he was mostly defense. Hit one of the more famous home runs ever. I didn't see Jackie Robinson, but I know how to read, and he was really good. I thought Chase Utley and Robinson Cano were both better second basemen than Jeff Kent, and I guess they both will ultimately end up in there. But Jeff Kent's in. Congratulations,
cool.
Jeff Kent.
Congratulations, old Jeff.
Great.
Love it for you.
I don't think I would change seats to hear his Hall of Fame induction speech.
No, believe me, Brett. I'll pass on it.
Yeah. But congratulations.
No, congratulations. I mean, look, good
Jeff.
for him.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him. I just, it didn't really move the needle for me.
And he was asked about Barry Bonds. He gave a very diplomatic answer. I think it's his stock answer that he's not a voter. He doesn't want to get into that. And they had a very prickly relationship, as most everybody on earth did with Barry Bonds. Players, coaches, media. I don't care how big a horse's patootie was. He's, at worst, in my opinion, the third best player ever.
Yeah. Well, again, that's the other thing is I mean, like you said, I don't care what anybody is away from what they do for a living, whether it's anybody. Like,
I don't care.
If they're a good player, they're a good player. Like, just
he may have been nasty to me every time I encountered him, but I know what he did out there on that field. And I know he hit those home runs in the hardest ballpark to hit them in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In the new ballpark in San Francisco.
Brett, there's a lot of professional players, especially great professional athletes, that are arrogant and have egos and there's a lot of them. So I can't blame, I can't hold that against that person.
I don't want to be besties with him.
No.
And all joking aside, I don't need to be hugging people that I covered or watched or should have been pretty tough on.
No, yes. No, definitely not. But
or at least fair to.
Sure. But at the end of the day, if everybody in America agrees, or most of America agrees that he's one of the best players ever, I don't know why we have to do this every year. So.
All right, now for Notre Dame. You ready?
Let's do it.
What how bad were they given the business?
I think A little bit. I mean, I see every side to it, and I think every side's right. I think you make an argument for both sides of the issue, and I think you could make a really strong argument.
Can you believe they got left out?
No, I really can't. I was shocked yesterday when I saw Notre Dame was
ran into someone yesterday and yesterday morning eating breakfast 3 hours for the selection.
Yeah.
He said, I think Alabama and Notre Dame both are going to be left out. I went, no way.
No chance.
No way. You're rolling out a TV show.
Yeah.
No way.
Right.
Well, he was halfway.
He was halfway. Well, and I was looking, I guess it was late Saturday night at the odds to just make the college football playoff. Like, hey, what does Vegas think about this? And I think it was like minus 1,300 for Notre Dame to just make the playoffs. For them to get to the semifinals, they had the 5th or 6th best odds out of any team to make the semifinals. And Miami, I think they were somewhere around plus 700, plus 650 to make the college football playoff. So I know Eli was saying this when I heard him say it. He made some good money on Miami to make college football playoffs, but I guess there's money to be made if you were a believer that Miami was going to be in. If you're a believer Notre Dame was going to be out, you could have made some real money because it felt like nobody thought Notre Dame was going to be left out of that 12-team playoff.
Their AD's mad. I don't blame him. He's got to strongly advocate for his place of employment. I don't blame him whatsoever. But the whole idea of they told us all those poll releases all year that we were in. Well, that's like a political candidate that believes the polls all through the election, and then on election night, you didn't win. Yeah. Well, but the poll said I did.
Yeah. Well, and it goes back to
if that's the case, then there's President Dewey instead of Harry Truman.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, and it goes back to what did those polls mean 4 weeks ago? Nothing. I mean, they did not mean anything.
And we said it.
Exactly.
Only one mattered, and I hope yesterday and the dust up coming out of this will eliminate that.
I hope
so. They did November 4th, 11th, 18th, 25th, December 2nd, and the final one. So 5 in the final. Can't we lop 3 of those 5 out and then the final one?
How about we lop all of them out until the final one?
How about we lop all of them out? So, but then there's going to be so many accusations of true smoke-filled rooms and manipulation. They got to show their hand a little.
I mean, a little bit, but there's
for
already
the potential
that.
blowback.
I mean, everybody. It's so weird to me that I hear everybody had a problem with Notre Dame being ahead of Miami Tuesday night, a week ago, whatever it might be. Now that it's flipped, everybody has a problem with Notre Dame out of nowhere flipping behind them. I've seen so many people talk about, well, if this was Tuesday and this was Sunday and neither team played, then how can you flip them? What's the logic there? Okay, well then how about we do like what college basketball does, and we do one show 2 weeks before the bracket, and they do their top 16 in college basketball. Do the 12 of right now, and then let's play the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season, and then we'll have it. Because I think there's going to be controversy either way. I think people are going to be upset either way, and I just think the shows throughout the year are pointless, and they showed us yesterday that they mean absolutely nothing because they're just going to make a final decision Saturday night, and they're going to release something on Sunday.
And when you run a complete stooge out there in Hunter Yurachek,
that's another thing.
Trying to explain it, trying to be was the voice of. He was just wholly unprepared for it each and every week, and it showed, and it showed a lot of why Razorback football particularly is in the mess they're in. But also this, Brian, it doesn't matter how many teams we go to. We can go to 90 and 91 is going to be complaining on Monday morning.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's always going to happen. I mean, that team that's right there, they always have a pretty good argument. I mean, that's the reason why you are the top team that didn't make it, is because you were a really good team and you just got left out. And so they always have a great argument, but they're always going to argue no matter what it looks like, however many teams, what the formula is.
Let's go back to AP and UPI voting. That's what I want to do. Let's take a big step backwards.
I don't know. I don't think we're doing any steps backwards. I think we're just going to keep moving forward and keep changing things on the fly. And I'm sure before too much longer we'll move to 16 and they'll try to make everybody happy, and then 17 and 18 will be mad, and then who knows what they do.
Somebody's gonna be mad.
Someone's always gonna be mad, and for whatever reason,
I was mad a year
find
ago.
a way to make them happy. Yeah, someone's always gonna be mad. But we'll talk about what we saw yesterday from the committee a lot this afternoon. We'll do it with a couple guests throughout the show as well. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Jonah Dillon, the Tiger football beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. He'll join us, talk a lot of Tiger football, a ton to get to with him. Obviously, we now know who the next head coach will be. We also know where the Tigers will go for their 12th straight bowl game here in just a couple of weeks. One of the earlier bowl games the Tigers will play in the Gasparilla Bowl. Talk about that with Jonah Dillon. Also a lot about new head coach Charles Huff. 3:45, we'll talk Tiger basketball. They got the big win over Baylor on Saturday. A fun game where the Tigers, in those last couple of minutes, just all-out dominated Baylor and got that win. 4 o'clock, David Cobb from CBS Sports. He'll join us, talk a lot of college football and college basketball with him. We'll talk a lot about the bracket, about the committee, what they got right, what they got wrong, Notre Dame, Miami, everything that took place yesterday. We'll also talk some more college football and some college basketball with David Cobb. A very busy weekend around both over the weekend. 4:30, it'll be time for our Sissy's Log Cabin look back at the weekend in the SEC. Not much to look back at, just one game. It was the SEC championship game, a Georgia win over Alabama. Finally, they get that big win over Alabama when it matters, so we'll talk a lot about that at 4:30. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, DeMichael Cole, the Grizzlies beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. Plenty to talk about with DeMichael as the Grizzlies keep on winning. Zach Edey, he has made a massive difference since his return. And speaking of returns, it looks like we are extremely close to the return of Ja Morant. And then we'll get a really good look at what this roster looks like with both him and Zach Edey on the court. 5:30, we'll get to our Monday Night Football pick and preview for this game tonight. Eagles and Chargers. Will have the game for you tonight starting at 7 o'clock between the Eagles and the Chargers. During that segment, we will also get to our big 4 players on the field tonight combined between these two teams. So you can have 2 Eagles, 2 Chargers, 1 Eagle, 3 Chargers, however you want to do it. The top 4 players on the field tonight between the Eagles and the Chargers. At 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Moe's Crunch Time. We're sitting in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. The hot tub and swim spa clearance sales, they're going on right now at Family Leisure. Hot tubs starting at $24.99, swim spas at $14.99, and in-stock patio furniture up to 50% off. Hot tub covers, they're starting at $249, and the spa steps and cover lifts starting at just $99. Special financing is available, and if you mention this ad, receive a free gift with that hot tub purchase. So head out there to Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sportstime. We're live and local and with you until 6 o'clock. We want you to be a big part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will join us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. Our producer is Landon Schmidt. He's Brian. I'm Brett. And we are Sportstime, always live and local, always from our Family Leisure studio. And this hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis. They're at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2025 models, 2026s as well, and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but they invite you to stop by and see the beautifully decorated for the holiday season Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. That's where you also can put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2026 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style, driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it is the college football playoffs. It was revealed yesterday morning, and after all of the conference championship games that we saw on both Friday and Saturday, it felt like we had a pretty good idea going into Sunday. Like we talked about, I don't think many people thought that we would see Notre Dame out of the bracket. The top 4 seeds with Indiana's win over Ohio State, they jumped up to number 1, and Ohio State, they just dropped back to number 2. I thought a good decision by the committee. 3 Georgia, 4 Texas Tech. So that means your first round college football playoff games, you'll have number 5 Oregon hosting 12 James Madison after their big win Friday night in their conference championship game. 8 Oklahoma against 9 Alabama. 6 Ole Miss hosting 11 Tulane, and 7 Texas A&M hosting Miami. Outside of, the decision and having Notre Dame in front of Miami and then flipping it for the final reveal, the biggest surprise to me was the fact that we're getting Oregon and James Madison as the primetime game Saturday night. That felt like the 11 o'clock game, but I guess...
Yeah, but that would be 9 o'clock kickoff in Eugene.
That is true. Okay, 2:30? Can we just move some things around? I do not want to see James Madison get their doors blown off against Oregon primetime Saturday night.
I'm not steamed up about 1 or even 2 group of 5 teams being in the playoffs. That's the deal.
Sure.
Remember, yeah. I asked Greg Sankey, why did you ever agree to this? Mm-hmm. Why didn't you agree to 12 at large is the best? He said, I couldn't move the ball down the field on the playoff. I couldn't get it done. Yeah. I had too much resistance. I'm fine by these teams in it. Yeah. I hope this is the last year of it.
Yeah.
12, 14, 16, 2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits a dollar. Mm-hmm. I don't care if we go to 90. I want the best 90 in there. Yeah. But for this year, that's the deal we agreed to.
Yeah. No, it
so
absolutely
welcome
is.
JMU and Tulane.
And that's why it played out. And I guess you could have the conspiracy theories in there. That's why Miami got in, to keep the ACC happy, because they weren't going to get a team in. So who knows? There's always going to be some sort of controversy, and we got more of it this year.
That's my top story, the CFP. It's out. 5 from the SEC, 3 hosting on campus. IU, the rightful number 1. I agree with you. I think the rightful number 2, it is Ohio State. Look, it was a pull, hook, missed field goal. We go into overtime. We don't know what was going to happen in overtime if they make that field goal. Number 3, the Georgia Bulldogs, champs of the SEC. 4, Texas Tech, champions of the Big 12. Okay, fine. 5 through 12, up for debate. Oregon, Ole Miss, they could have swapped, but fine. A&M, they could have been a 5 or a 6, but they're the 7, and they're behind Ole Miss. And you got the Texas Aggies playing a home game against Miami. That should be a good game. Yeah. But the ones that are crying the most, it's Notre Dame. And I would just like to tell Notre Dame something very simply. You ran the sport for a long, long, long time. You don't anymore. The Big Ten and the SEC, they run the sport now. And the South kind of runs the sport now. Notre Dame, you don't. You hadn't had a national championship since 88. You haven't had a Heisman Trophy winner since 87. You don't run the sport anymore.
No, things have certainly changed since their dominance, that's for sure.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it is Tiger football. A lot of news for them. We learned yesterday afternoon that they will play NC State in the Gasparilla Bowl December 19th. That's just in a couple of Fridays, an afternoon game against NC State, but it does mean now the 3rd straight bowl game that the Tigers will play a power conference opponent, which
that's at Raymond James Stadium.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And when you kind of looked at it and we saw some of the potential spots, it looked like Birmingham Bowl was getting a lot of love by people, and as we saw last night, they were struggling to just find a team. So I thought the Tigers got in a really good spot getting that power opponent.
Sports 56 team almost had to put a team together. They head to Birmingham.
We could have done it. I call quarterback, but I'll let y'all figure out the rest of the position.
I call deep snapper. That's all I can do.
There you go. I like that as well. The other news is the Tigers have a new head coach, Charles Huff, after a year at Southern Miss, where he really turned around that program following a 4-year stint at Marshall, where he did the same, got them to 10 wins, their first 10-win season since 2015. Last year at Southern Miss, their first 7-win season since 2019. He now takes over at Memphis. A lot of time coaching college football as an assistant and then as a head coach. And how about I won't read it all, but over Tiger Athletics on their Twitter page, a quote from his old former boss, Coach Nick Saban, giving praise to Charles Huff and congratulating him on the job. So look, when I'm looking at potential candidates, if you worked under Nick Saban, I think you're probably a pretty good head coach.
I agree with that. Same. I'm right there with you. Coach Charles Huff, the new Tigers head football coach, and good luck. And I'm all for it. And I'm wishing for big success. And any old way I can, I'm going to do it. I think I preferred it over Jerry Mack. I did like the candidate pool. I did. But Dan Mullen, come on now. Nobody ever thought that was going to happen, and thank goodness it didn't, or I would have had to make a fool out of myself for years to people that then would have hated me over it, and I'm glad I didn't have to do it. But Coach Huff, I tell you what he does do. He takes over Tiger football at the strongest position it's ever been in. He gets the job on day one stronger than it's ever been in. 3 straight coaches that have done well. All these quarterbacks. He doesn't have to wear a hard hat one time over to the fairgrounds, to the stadium area. It's going to be completed. Right. He's walking in basically to a splashy, remodeled new stadium. He's got to go out and win.
That's right. The winning is going to be what people expect, and that's why a lot of people were happy when Ryan Silverfield took the Arkansas job, because he couldn't get over that hump. We'll see if Charles Huff can get over that hump. Well, that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's get to our first break, and when we return, we're talking Tiger football. Jonah Dillon from the Commercial Appeal. He joins us next.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at codesdispensary.com. That's codesdispensary.com.
Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20 plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
We're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
It's takeover time, and you'll know when. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors, and the takeover time I mentioned is when your house has been on the market for so long and you want somebody to come in, take over, properly market it, and get it sold. People often say when you want the job done, call Sheldon, because I have a highly successful strategic marketing program that can mean the difference in what you make and when. It involves preparation before you go on the market, along with proper presentation and accurate pricing based on our ever-changing market and rates, and being made aware of what's going on around you so you can make intelligent decisions, not merely guessing. Call me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com and let me take your listing over and get it sold. I may be lousy at golf, but I sure do sell some homes. Call me, Sheldon Rosengarten, 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the Burr months, and that means even more savings at Family Leisure. Why is this time of the year the best time of the year to shop at Family Leisure? Because Family Leisure has new stuff coming, so they need to make room. Need a cover for your hot tub? How convenient. Family Leisure has them starting at just $249. Need new spa steps or a cover lift? Family Leisure has those as well, starting at just $99. Let's say you don't have a hot tub or you want a new one. Pick yours right now, starting at $24.99. Get your laps in with a swim spa, and prices start at under $15,000. In-stock patio furniture, that's up to 50% off. Plus, if you need special financing, Family Leisure's got you covered. One final thing. Tell the folks at Family Leisure you heard this radio commercial. You get a free gift with a hot tub purchase. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting a little bit heavier here in the last few minutes, already on 240 East from Mill Branch out to 385 as you get on the Bill Morris Parkway going outbound. So far, that's moving. Midtown traffic's trying its best to get a little bit busier on 240 there at South Parkway. Hey, give the gift of clean this holiday season. Save 40% off right now at Zips Car Wash. Gift cards and wash books, they're perfect stocking stuffers. Log on to zipscarwash.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we got to talk some Tiger football. A busy weekend for the Tiger football team, even though they didn't even play a game. But joining us to discuss all of it, Jonah Dillon, Tiger football beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. He joins us now. Jonah, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to talk about, but let's start with the new head coach, Charles Huff. It was officially announced earlier this morning by the Tigers. It was reported Saturday morning. What do you make of this hire for the University of Memphis?
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense given the process and given, what the candidates are. Obviously, whenever there's a coaching change, you never really know what direction the administration is going to head in, if there's going to be a, left field candidate or something like that. But Charles Huff was someone who, obviously, I think we talked about it last week. He was kind of an obvious candidate, just in terms of what he's done at the Sun Belt level, multiple places, especially able to turn around a program. Southern Miss was 1-11 a couple years ago. He got there, had one of the top transfer classes in the country, went 7-5. And so this is the kind of job where you're going to be expected to compete at the top of the conference immediately. There's not going to be an expectation of maybe this will be a rebuild for a couple of years. So obviously Memphis needed somebody who was going to come in and be expected to do that and who had proven that they could do that. And I think that he has that kind of a track record.
Jonah, for Dr. Scott, was it always Charles Huff? I know he interviewed and talked to other candidates, but if it were in boxing parlance, was it a knockout? Was it on the scorecards? What was it to settle on Charles Huff?
Well, I think there were there was definitely other candidates. Me and my colleague Jason Munns reported kind of the inside of this search. There were a lot of other candidates. Blake Baker, defensive coordinator at LSU, who was also a target at Tulane, ultimately decided to stay at LSU. Buster Faulkner, who was the Georgia Tech offensive coordinator, now going to Florida to be their offensive coordinator under John Sumrall. Both very much in the mix. Jerry Mack in the mix as well, the Kennesaw State coach. Charles Huff was somebody who was always part of it. So obviously it wasn't one of those, you make one call and make a hire. We see these hires sometimes. Look at Iowa State. They announced their hire before Matt Campbell had even been announced as leaving. Mm-hmm. So obviously that was one that they had kind of going quickly. This one, obviously, look, there were interviews, multiple people, like I just mentioned, interviewing even more than that. Tyson Helton, another one, who was kind of involved early on. And then obviously a couple people early in the process who maybe there were phone calls or contacts, but weren't really serious candidates. Obviously there was a lot of speculation about Dan Mullen throughout the whole week, but that was never really something that was going to happen towards the end. And so I think ultimately they landed on somebody who they felt very confident in, but they went through a whole process to get there.
What do you think the aha moment was? And anytime there's the coaching search, whether it's the AD to powerful financial interest boosters, when they look around and go, "We got our coach." What do you think that was for Charles Huff? What separated?
I'm sure that, like I said, I think when you look at the candidates, even the people that I just mentioned, right, in terms of proven track record as a head coach, Charles Huff. And even really look at every person who was, potentially available. Obviously, Kurt Signetti is not a candidate. But people who are sitting head coaches who have a track record of success as sitting head coaches who could come here. I don't know how many other candidates there were that you could point to and say this person who obviously would be interested in the job, right? You can't go after people who have higher level jobs or stuff like that. And so I think that's the thing that has to be, and I'm sure that's what we hear from Ed Scott when we get to the introductory press conference, is just the success that Charles Huff has had consistently at that level as a head coach. Something that means that he can come and hit the ground running right away.
It is being reported, I know Pete Thamel tweeted it out earlier this afternoon, already Charles Huff making some moves for his next coaching staff. What do you think that coaching staff will look like, and do you think we'll have any carryovers from the current Memphis staff?
Yeah, so expected basically the defensive staff from Southern Miss to come. Jason Seymour, the defensive coordinator. That's kind of been the expectation from the jump, because those guys, a lot of them, including Jason Seymour, were at Marshall, went with Charles Huff from Marshall to Southern Miss. He was only at Southern Miss for a year. So a lot of these people are going to jump and then come again with him. Offensively, it's going to be interesting because at Southern Miss, Blake Anderson, who's their offensive coordinator, is now their interim head coach, and the expectation had been that he would be a serious candidate to be Southern Miss's next head coach, and I believe that he still is right now. And the fact that he's the interim coach suggests that he's not probably going to come, and he's not somebody who came with Charles Huff from Marshall. So offensively, I think Memphis is going to have a completely new staff, and that's going to be the interesting one to see where that comes from, because obviously Tim Cramsey, Larry Smith, Jeff Myers, a couple others already heading to Fayetteville to join Ryan Silverfield's staff. And so I think that's going to be interesting. I would say there's a chance that there are some people that are retained, but I wouldn't expect any of this to be sorted until after the Tigers play their bowl game, because a lot of the people who are still on the staff are going to coach in that game regardless of if they're going to be here next year.
Yeah, and a bowl game for Southern Miss as well. 2 weeks from tomorrow afternoon, they're going to play Western Kentucky, Tyson Helton's team, in the New Orleans Bowl. Will Coach Huff coach that game, or is his last duties done in Hattiesburg?
No, he definitely won't coach that game. Yeah, he's done. Blake Anderson is going to coach that game, and he's already moving on. Now, I don't know those other coaches. It's possible that there will be people who will coach that game, assistants, and then maybe leave after, because, like I said, Memphis is in the same position, but the head coaches have hopefully moved on.
Has it been announced? I haven't seen. Do we know when the introductory press conference will be for Charles Huff?
It's not been announced. I've heard a couple of different days, but it'll be sometime this week.
And how will they do that? Will it be just the coach and assemble media, or is it going to be pep rally party style?
I would expect there to be some version of that. I don't know if it'll be the same. It might be two different things or something like that, but I would expect there will be some fan involvement at some point.
Tigers found out where they're going to the bowl game, the Gasparilla Bowl against NC State, only a couple weeks from now, 2 Fridays, or I guess the next Friday, the 19th. It'll be an afternoon game on ESPN. What did you make of that draw? Because it felt like maybe Birmingham Bowl was starting to be a popular option. Then we saw late last night, Birmingham Bowl was really having trouble finding a team to play in their bowl game. So what do you make another year Tigers playing a power conference opponent?
Yeah, I think I know people talking about the Birmingham Bowl. That was obviously an option, but Memphis wanted to play an early bowl game, and Birmingham Bowl's not, I think it's the 29th or something. And so it made sense that they wanted to play in this game when you get to play. Basically, it's been the same way for the past couple of years. Can we play a power conference team, and can we play before Christmas? And they checked both those boxes again. NC State is 7-5. They're not the most. Look, obviously they're a bowl eligible team. They won 7 games, but it's going to be a strange situation for Memphis, because not only is there going to be an interim coach, obviously a lot of players are going to be playing and hoping to impress Charles Huff, and also hoping to impress potential suitors in the transfer portal. I do think playing an early bowl game is beneficial in the sense that it makes it less likely. We saw this last year, that a ton of players will go in the portal before the game. Obviously, you can't go in the portal technically until January 2nd, but I don't think there will be a ton of opt-outs, because it makes sense to just play the game and then kind of deal with that afterwards, especially if you're trying to get more tape. So I think Memphis should have a pretty good roster for that game. And obviously a lot of seniors who would be expected to play as well. But it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out and how the coaching staff ultimately even shakes out for that game, because a lot of these guys on the offensive side of the ball are already out of here. And so still questions about who's going to call the plays and what that's going to look like.
Yeah, you got players heading out. How many of the Charles Huff players at Southern Miss will be heading to Memphis?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think definitely something that I would keep an eye on. They've got a couple players. They had 3 guys who were all Sun Belt first team. Chris Jones is one of the best linebackers tackling-wise in the country. He would be someone that I would have my eye on just in terms of if you're looking at the roster, someone that stands out. He had a ton of players, obviously, who went from Marshall to Southern Miss with him, like I said, with coaches. So I would expect there obviously be interest there, and just the same way that I think a lot of people in Fayetteville are looking at Memphis's roster and thinking there's a lot of players that are going to come over. I think the same thing probably can happen here.
Yeah, that is the way now. Jonah Dillon with us every Monday talking Tigers football all season long, and we sure appreciate it from the commercial appeal on the Tiger football beat. He's on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Jonah, was it pretty mutual, or was it the play before Christmas thing? Why didn't the Tigers end up in the Liberty Bowl? Was it the Liberty Bowl, or was it the Tigers? Pretty mutual, or what?
Yeah, I mean, the sense that I got at the Liberty Bowl is they obviously, look, these bowl games, they come down to trying to generate interest and sell tickets, right? That's ultimately the number one thing. You hear a lot of people talk about creating competition and things like that, but we all know what this is. The Liberty Bowl, obviously, because there weren't enough SEC teams to fill all their slots, they got to pick a team from the American, and the team they picked was Navy. Now, I expected that going in because you look at the top of the conference. Obviously, Tulane's not an option for them because they're going to the playoff. The other teams don't have coaches, right, who are at the top of or are going to have new coaches. And it's the same thing with Memphis. It's like, if you're a Memphis fan, yeah, it's a cool experience to play in a bowl game, especially against a power conference team. But also, that this team is, everything is kind of moving on, and they're already thinking about next season. Obviously, the sense that they've already hired a new coach, and the coach has left. It's difficult to generate interest in a team like that. So with Navy, that's a team that has had a lot of success. They have a lot of seniors. I think they'll travel pretty well because that's a team where it's kind of the end for them. They obviously had a really successful season this year and last year. And then the Liberty Bowl also gets the kind of free advertising of Navy playing an Army-Navy game next week. And so they can keep talking about, after this, Navy's going to go play in the Liberty Bowl. And so I think it benefits them. It makes sense that that's who they decided to pick while Memphis is kind of sorting all this stuff out. I would say most years, if this is an option, Memphis probably will end up getting picked by them, but I can see why this year Navy ended up being the team they wanted.
Yeah, no, I think definitely makes a lot of sense. Last thing for you, Jonah, we saw that Arrington Maiden, even though, like you said, you can't officially enter the transfer portal, he has at least said that he intends to enter the transfer portal once it's open. What did you make of that decision, and what if anything, have you heard about A.J. Hill and what he is planning on doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it obviously, everyone I kind of checked with last week, they had the same response, which was, I'm waiting to see who the coach is, and then we're going to meet with them and figure it out. I would expect Charles Huff, one of the first things that he does when he gets here is he probably meets with all the players and discusses, what he thinks about them and their future. At the same time, I'm sure everybody at Southern Miss was already, planning to recruit people in the transfer portal and has ideas not only of people to bring from Southern Miss, but also just players that they would be interested in the portal from other schools and stuff. So I would, realistically, you should expect a significant amount of people to eventually go in the transfer portal from Memphis. Like you said, it's going to be interesting to see A.J. Hill, Sutton Smith, some guys like that, who obviously would have serious interest, and I'm sure are already receiving interest from teams that would want them. But I think it's a little bit too early right now. He's going to have to meet with them and determine that, like you said, they can't actually do anything until January 2nd, so you might as well see what the options are before you get there.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be a lot of moving pieces, a lot happening over the next couple of weeks with Charles Huff coming in. Jonah, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Jonah.
Thank you, Jonah. Jonah Dillon with us every Monday, and a lot of news out there. Maybe the most dastardly thing Nashville's ever pulled on us. Have you noticed the corporate sponsor's name for the Music City Bowl?
No, I haven't.
Liberty Mutual. Come on, Nashville.
Really?
You got to work our name our bowl into your bowl.
How about that? Well, Brett, imitation is the highest form of flattery. Something like that.
Dang, Nashville.
Yeah,
a lot of holiday parties going on right now, and even more between now and the big day. Let Jason's Deli cater for any of your events. A lot of office get-togethers and a lot for churches and and end of the year for some sports teams, beginning of the year for others, for whatever your event, let Jason's Deli take care of you, bringing more to the table. It's a family thing, whether it's 5 or 5,000. And just when you think you don't have your event properly planned, I bet you're all thinking that right now. Step aside, let them step in. That's when they really excel. Same day in last minute orders. Welcome. Vegetarian and gluten-sensitive options always available for all 3 meals, whether you're dining in, getting it to go, getting it delivered. It's wholesome food forever. It's a family thing with all these great locations, with Christmas tree up in every location, like at Park Place across from MUS, by the University of Memphis at Poplar and Highland, down in Olive Branch, out in Cordova, and it's healthy. First franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. It's also all about choice at Jason's Deli, whether you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the Build Your Own, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli. Off the menu, the Mesa chicken salad, the nutty mixed-up salad, my favorite, the taco salad, and then that great salad bar with over 30 items for you to prepare it however you'd like, catering anytime, anywhere. Complimentary free ice cream in every location. Plenty of organic food to choose from in a location near you. On Ridgeway Road, by the University of Memphis, down in Olive Branch, and out in Cordova. Merry Christmas from everyone at Jason's Deli. And check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Let's grab another break. When we return, we just got done talking Tiger football. Now we got to talk Tiger basketball. They got the big win over the weekend against Baylor. We'll discuss it next on Sports Time.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Maria's Cantina in South Haven is not your average Tex-Mex joint because they're serving up Mexican with a twist. Maria's Scratch Kitchen is the most creative and diverse menu around. Beyond the traditional huge quesadillas, chimichangas, and fajitas, Maria serves up hand-rolled Latin egg rolls, Cajun and Creole items like catfish, gumbo, and boudin balls, as well as the best sandwiches and 8-ounce burgers in town. Wash it all down with a house margarita for only $5.50 and happy hour every day till 6. MariasCantina.com, 6717 Airways, Mexican with a twist. Rick's Powder Coating, for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
I say this all the time. Insurance companies aren't in the business of protecting you. They're in the business of protecting their profits. Their number one goal, avoid paying any claim they can get out of. These policies, home, life, and auto, are written in legal jargon on purpose, not for clarity, for confusion. Buried in that fine print are exclusions, loopholes, and coverage gaps you'll never catch on your own. You might think you're covered, but you don't actually know. Most people only find out when something goes wrong, and by then it's too late. That's why you should look at My Policy Advocate. Upload your policy. Break it down. It does so in plain English, telling you where you're covered and exposed and where your insurance company can deny you. Right now, through the end of the year, it's just $79 for an entire year, practically nothing. And it could save you tens of thousands of dollars when life happens. Don't leave it to chance. Go to mypolicyadvocate.com. Take 5 minutes. Make sure you're actually protected.
If wedding bells are in your future, you need an unforgettable engagement ring from a jeweler you can trust. And that's been James Gaddis Jewelers for over 60 years. With a huge selection and the best prices, James Gaddis is a master jeweler and diamondologist. Beautiful jewelry from James Gaddis is always the right choice. Choose from rings to earrings, necklaces to bracelets, and gemstones to watches. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, online at GaddisJewelers.com and Instagram at Gaddis Jewelers. Say I do at James Gaddis Jewelers.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, the Tigers were winners on Saturday. A big win over Baylor, 78-71, the final score. A game where Tigers led pretty much all of the first half. It was weird the way the game started. Neither team could get the first points of the game. Baylor opened it, and then Memphis pretty quickly got on top. Kept that lead the entire rest of the first half. Came out in the second half. Baylor was able to regain the lead. They got up to about an 8-point lead at one point, but in those final 5 or so minutes, Tigers really dominated and end up getting the 7-point win. So when you talk about those non-conference resume wins, this is certainly one that will help you come March.
And you look at only 9 turnovers against the Scott Drew team that they've lived off defense. Yeah. All those great players, they have offensive skills as well, a lot of them. Yeah. But all those great players he's put into the NBA, it's really been a calling card for him to bring the pressure. The Tigers brought it from even when that kind of lumbering beginning, when it took a while kind of to break the seal and get the scoring started. You could watch 5 minutes of that game and go, Tigers match up fine in this game.
Yeah. No, I mean, I thought they matched up really well. It's a really interesting Baylor team to watch. I mean, they don't run a lot of guys. All 5 of their starters are listed as guards on the roster. I mean, it's a weird team, but they make it work, and they are a very talented team. So yeah, it was very impressive the way the Tigers played for the entire game. I mean, we talked about it, coming out and struggling to get on the board in the first couple of minutes. They end up trailing in the second half, but I mean, really, really impressive throughout the entire game.
All right, the Tigers aren't going to win any 3-point contests.
No,
we've seen that through now 8 games. I think we know it the rest of the year. Fine, scoot up closer, get a better shot.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the thing is that will be something to watch, especially in conference play. Is how do teams decide to guard them? Do they try to force them to shoot threes? We know zone has been an issue for Tiger teams in the past. Do you see a lot of zone?
Did Baylor run any zone?
I don't remember seeing any zone in that game. They might have at some point, but I don't ever remember looking and seeing any zone. So, I mean, do teams try to counter with that and see this is a team that really struggles, try to force them to take threes? But, yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of talented guys, and I think you're seeing guys starting to come into their role and figure it out. You look at what Zach Davis has done over the last 2 games. He was named Conference Player of the Week earlier today after 2 really impressive performances, and really what he's doing on the defensive end of the court, maybe more impressive than what he's doing offensively over the last couple of games. So it feels like guys are starting to figure out their role and are playing in the system, and they weren't doing that at the beginning of the season.
There's someone else learning and knowing his role. Coach Roy Rogers.
Yeah.
And what he's doing with the Tiger Bigs, they don't resemble the early part of the year Tiger Bigs.
Yeah, and that's the Bigs were certainly the biggest question coming into the season. I think playing a lot better, and you look at a guy like Simon Majok, who has a ton of potential. I can't wait to see. And I know Jason Munn said it on Friday. Forget what he looks like in a year or two. I can't wait to see what he looks like at the end of the season, because I think you've already seen strides for him over just a handful of games. Some of these other bigs, Aaron Bradshaw had a good game on Saturday. Can he continue that? I think will be the biggest question. But yeah, I mean, these bigs were the biggest question, and so far I think you're seeing a lot of improvement from them.
Now, to Louisville on Saturday, 2:30 on ESPN. Saturday's game was 3:30 on CPS, so more national exposure for the Tiger basketball program against old rival Louisville. Then back at home against Vandy. That's one that can really help in all those metrics.
No, that would be
you get that win.
Yeah, I mean, at home, if you can get a
then
good
go
crowd
Vandy
in there. Oh, absolutely. And Vandy's looked really good this season. So, yeah, I mean, that would be a great game. If you could get that win at home, I mean, that would help a ton.
Vandy's still undefeated. Brian, I didn't count the number. I'm going to say a dozen or less undefeated teams left this year.
Really?
Wow. Out of 365 college, but it may not be a dozen. I didn't count, but I know it's very few.
Yeah.
And that feels like a smaller number for December 18th than ever. I know I probably say that every year.
Only 8 teams with
only 8.
No
okay.
losses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 8 teams.
Okay.
With no losses on the season. So yeah, under double digits. Which
December 8th.
That's wild. But
we just started
that's
a month and 4 days ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way the
and
season
Vandy won
started
up,
out.
is my point.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I mean, like I said, I think the first time I really sat down and watched them was last Wednesday against SMU. I was really impressed with what I saw. And so, yeah, that's going to be.
I think I like SMU.
SMU's a good team. You know,
I
need to watch more of them.
SMU and A&M yesterday.
Yeah, I love Corey Washington, who they brought over from Wichita State last year. So, yeah, I mean, I think some really good teams, and Vanderbilt's one of them. And so they'll be here a week from Wednesday. And so that will be a tough game, but hopefully
now
a good
Mississippi
crowd.
State feels gettable.
Yeah, you know, I mean
coin toss game.
Sure, I mean it's a road game,
there.
so you know those are always really tough. But yeah, I mean I think they're certainly beatable. You know, when you talk about the SEC, I mean I think they're just kind of a middle of the pack SEC team this year. So I think I think that's a very winnable game. I mean if you can come out of this 4-game stretch 2 or 3 wins, I mean I think you are ecstatic about that result.
Preseason, I had 7-6 non-conference, and remember the final non-conference game won't be played until Valentine's out at Utah State.
Mm-hmm.
They're 8-1.
Yeah, no, I was about to say they've started the season really well, also. So I mean, that's not going to be an easy game, and that could be one you look up in February when that game is. You get that win, that one could be really really big for the resume. So still a lot in front of this Tiger team, and a really good win for them over Baylor. But we need to wrap up this first hour and get to a break. When we return, we're talking college football and college basketball. David Cobb from CBS Sports, he joins us next.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant, objective feedback with hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 Cordova, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-size courts, 3 high school-size courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis, now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Here's what sets NST Law apart. They don't just work in Memphis, they ride for Memphis. From school fundraisers to courtroom battles, they show up where it matters. And when someone in this city gets hurt, NST goes toe-to-toe with insurance giants. No fear, no favors. It's not just the law to them, it's loyalty. And if you ever need backup after a crash, NST's got your back. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or check out nstlaw.com.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Celebrate the new year with the AutoZone Liberty Bowl as we welcome the nationally ranked Navy Midshipmen and the Cincinnati Bearcats to the biggest party in town. Great football and a halftime show featuring country music star Matt Stell. It's all happening at the 67th AutoZone Liberty Bowl game on Friday, January 2nd at 3:30. Get your tickets today by calling 795-7700. During the holidays, the Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Watching it build pretty good southbound on 240 and South Parkway. It's moving at the moment. I-40 east over here at Warford and Hollywood, headed on over to White Station. Now working your way south of Memphis. That's starting to really pick up in the last 15, 20 minutes on 55, headed on down to DeSoto County. Hey, give the gift of clean this holiday season right now. You can save 40% off Zips Car Wash. Gift cards and wash books, they're perfect stocking stuffers. Check out zipscarwash.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
And she says, I wish that I could be like the cool kids.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our second hour. We got to talk college football and some college basketball. We do it at this time every single week with David Cobb.
Joining Brian and Brett now on Sports Time is national college football writer for CBS Sports, Memphis native and Tennessee grad, who you can find on Twitter X at David W. Cobb. It's David Cobb.
David Cobb joins us now to talk college football, college basketball. A lot to get to. I know we're going to talk college football playoffs. Let's go ahead and get the new Tiger football head coach out of the way. Charles Huff officially announced earlier this morning. It was reported that he would take the job Saturday morning. What do you make of this hire for the University of Memphis?
Yeah, I think it's a really solid hire, and I think you're only disappointed about it if you talked yourself into thinking Dan Mullen was coming. And it's the same thing we see at Florida. They talked themselves into thinking they were getting Lane Kiffin. Mm-hmm. Now they're all disappointed with John Summerall, who is a coach that 4 other SEC schools are ready to crawl over broken glass to hire. And so it's just ridiculous when you set yourself up for disappointment with a pipe dream of a candidate, and then all of a sudden you get a really solid, well-experienced veteran option in there. And you know, I mean, look, I think in the long run, Memphis fans will come around on Charles Huff just in the same way that Arkansas fans have convinced themselves into Ryan Silverfield. I'll say this, though. I think Memphis fans have more reason to be optimistic about Charles Huff than Arkansas fans have to be optimistic about Ryan Silverfield. And I don't even mean that as a shot to Ryan. I think that Charles Huff could really realistically be an upgrade. He was at Marshall, won 10 games there without a lot of resources, immediately turned around Southern Miss from 1 win to 7 in 1 season. Now you give him some of the best resources in the group of 5 with the experience he has. I think he's going to do really, really well.
Golly, David, I love it when we agree because it just I think it confirms to me. Okay, you got this one right when you agree with David Cobb. I'm with you on everything from the I think foolish notion of Dan Mullen. Throw in Arkansas thinking they were going to get John Gruden, and it's a little bit why they're disappointed in Ryan Silverfield.
Yeah, these fan bases talk themselves into these illusions of grandeur. I mean, I've lived this for a long, long time now. First as a fan growing up, and Tennessee fired Philip Fulmer when I was in high school, and boy, they thought they were going to hire. There were multiple times they thought they were going to hire John Gruden, or at least they were going to get Chris Peterson, surely, right? Well, no, they ended up with Lane Kiffin, and then Derek Dooley, and then Butch Jones, and then Jeremy Pruitt, and the list goes on. And so, no, I think, look, it's a very sensible, very solid hire, and not only from the head coaching experience, but then also the assistant coaching experience under Nick Saban. This guy, I mean, he could be a big time winner, and he's done a great job everywhere he's been. So I just don't see any reason to be disappointed about it. Who knew anything about Mike Norvell or Justin Fuente when they were hired?
And they hadn't been head coaches.
They had not been head coaches, and in fact, I would argue that a lot of fans probably didn't even know Ryan Silverfield's name until there was a groundswell of support from within the program to hire him after Mike Norvell left, and then once you realized that the players and the people around the program liked him, then you started to like him too, but you didn't know who he was 3 weeks before then. So I think it's just because you don't know the name Charles Huff. One, it tells me you're not really paying that close attention to the rest of college football, and then two, it just tells me you got your hopes up because you were expecting something else. And so, no, I just think I think it's a really good hire, and I think, it's a very high floor hire and probably a very high ceiling hire as well. When you look who Tulane ended up with. Tulane ended up with Will Hall, who was far worse at Southern Miss than Charles Huff. He was far worse Charles Huff had to come in and clean up that guy's mess, and that's who one of your biggest conference rivals ended up with, is the guy whose mess Charles Huff had to come clean up, who he cleaned it up in 1 year. I think it's, when you look at it from that standpoint, they should be thrilled by the hire.
Yeah, and I would have been fine with Coach Mack at Kennesaw, but going through his resume and seeing that he was on that Larry Porter staff, boy, I just don't want any fingerprints from those days.
Yeah, I think I would have. In fact, I've been mentioning Charles Huff's name for Memphis since probably late October. At first it was like, well, Ryan Silverfield might have such a good season that he's, it's what ended up happening. We all knew there was a chance when Ryan was going to leave at the end of the cycle. The Memphis season played out differently than we expected it might. But nonetheless, Charles Huff was always on my short list of potential replacements. Now, I didn't really have Jerry Mack on my radar because, he was in year one at Kennesaw State, and it was only apparent, probably around November, like, oh, wow, this guy might really be worth a look. I think Huff's combination of multiple years of head coaching experience at multiple stops, combined with who he's worked under. I know obviously Jerry Mack had worked under Josh Heupel and whatever else, but when you come with the head coaching pedigree and the Nick Saban stamp of approval, boy, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch.
David, we'll do this sometime during the off season because we've got so many other things to get to today, but I want you and Bryant to tell me what year you want me to use as my starting point. I'm not going all the way back in school's history. So y'all give me either 1980 or 1990, and I'm going to go through all the SEC, Memphis, and some others, and I'm going to count up how many times it ends well for a football coach. And there's just not many times. Either fans are bitter that he left, or he's chased out of town over losing, or over scandal, probation, something. It just rarely ends well for anyone, whether it's a graduate, a son of the school. It's just so rarely ends well for people.
It really.
Y'all want 80 or 90? What's the demarcation?
Oh gosh, with the amount of institutional knowledge that you have, let's go all the way back to 80. You can do it.
But I don't think back to 60 or 70 is relevant for a lot of reasons, including, segregation and all that. Right. So I'll go back to 80, and it's just not many times that you have the going away, give them the golf clubs and a Cadillac and a watch and a bonus check. It's just rare that happens.
No, it is. It is. You even think about like a legend like Steve Spurrier at South Carolina. Quits in the middle of the season. Quits in the middle of the season, right? So your point is well taken, and that's why. Hey, look, LSU fans, just brace for impact. That's all I'm saying. You might have some really good times before you get there.
Tight, especially on the lane train. It's fun, man. When you hit those highs and then you're going to hit a dip. You're going to survive it, but boy, it gets rollicking.
It does. It does.
It absolutely does. All right, well, we had the college football playoff bracket announced last night. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I didn't love. No, in fact, I would say I really despised the decision to put Miami into the field over Notre Dame, and it's less about Miami and Notre Dame and their qualifications, one versus the other, as it is the fact that we saw for multiple weeks in a row Notre Dame be ranked ahead of Miami by multiple spots each time, and then on a week when neither one of them played, somehow that all changed, and that makes no sense to me whatsoever. And so that's the biggest gripe, because look, the committee had their hands tied with the stuff everybody else is complaining about. For it was multiple years ago now. They established that this 12-team format would automatically include the 5 highest-ranked conference champions. Well, they can't help the fact that the ACC can't produce a ranked champion. They had to include 2 group of 5 teams. There was no other option, really. So I'm not mad about that. They did the committee did what they had to do in that situation, what they were required to do, what the rules told them to do. So I don't have any problem with the fact that both Tulane and James Madison are in, but I do have a problem with the fact that two teams that didn't play on Saturday somehow magically flip-flopped in the rankings. That doesn't make sense at all. So that's my biggest gripe, especially when I really think about it. I really don't think Miami is capable of winning the national title. I do think Notre Dame is good enough to do it. They made the national championship game last season. Their offense is better this year, and they were dominant for 10 weeks in a row after suffering their only 2 losses of the year against two teams that ended up in the field. So I didn't love that. But, I mean, that's my biggest complaint. I'm sure there's other things you can look at, but that one was the one that stands out the most.
David, I think my biggest complaint, everything you just listed, very well done. I think my biggest complaint out of the weekend is look at the discourse today, really starting yesterday. And I knew once we went to a playoff, it was just going to block out the sun. But we're not even talking about those 2 games on Saturday night. The ACC game and the Big Ten game were as good as any games you'll ever sit down on a Saturday night and be hitting the back button trying to keep up or have 2 screens up or however you consume. Those were great games, and just presto, Indiana holding Ohio State to the points they only allowed against them, winning the Big Ten championship, and poor Duke. I mean, it's almost like it didn't even happen.
I know, but on the other hand, within those fan bases, I think winning a conference championship. Okay, so look at 3 of the 4 Power 4 conferences had first-time conference championship game winners on Saturday. How amazing is that? Texas Tech, first ever Big 12 title. Forget Big 12 championship game, just first Big 12 title ever for Texas Tech. Duke, it was their first Big 12 championship since like 89 or early 90s, and their first ever Big 12 championship game. And then the same deal for Indiana. I mean, their first ever. I mean, it's unfathomable.
Indiana, a place that their winningest coach all time, Bill Mallory, has a losing record.
Yeah, that's just unbelievable. It's just mind blowing that Indiana has done what it's done under Kurt Signetti, and I think if you would flash back 6-7 years ago, pre-COVID, pre-NIL, and told us that in the year 2025, Texas Tech, Indiana, and Duke would win their respective conferences, I would have said, what in the world? What have you done with college football? What's happened? But I think what it tells us is that the NIL era has brought an evening out of the talent. And at Texas Tech, I mean, it's so very clearly an example of them buying players. However, I'll say this. Once you buy them, you have to be able to mold them into a cohesive unit. Yep. Kentucky basketball was bought this year, the highest paid roster in the sport.
And their own fans booed them out of the arena Friday night in Nashville.
I was there. Stas. I saw it firsthand. It was unbelievable. And so I think Texas Tech deserves a lot of credit. And then Duke and Indiana, I think it's a different story. Like, Duke paid a ton of money for Darian Mensah, but I don't think Duke has one of the top 20 highest paid rosters in the sport. Indiana might. But still, even without them spending $40 million on their football roster, the NIL era allowed them to collect good enough talent to where they could compete with the big boys. And so that's been, I think, in some ways, pretty refreshing and pretty cool that we've got this new group of kids at the table. Now, same old story in the SEC, of course, but in the other,
it was the worst game of the day.
Yeah, it kind of was. It wasn't even close. But I mean, I agree. I was locked in live blogging that ACC championship game, and I wasn't real happy in the moment when all of a sudden Virginia Tech came alive and I had to scrap the whole story I had written. But boy, when it was all said and done, I was like, wow, that was one of the best conference championship games I've seen in a very, very long time.
All right, flag the tape. First 2026 college football prediction. Y'all ready?
Okay, let's do it.
Go.
At whatever point next year Kalen DeBoer hits that second loss, he better look out.
Whew.
Yeah, it's kind of building that direction, isn't it? That was a dud of a performance on Saturday in a game that means a lot to that fan base. And Alabama's trending in the wrong direction going into this playoff. But I'll say this. I do like the matchup with Oklahoma. I think Kalen DeBoer is a better coach than Brent Venables.
And they're due.
And with enough time to prepare, let's also consider this. Like, Oklahoma, they are living on busted coverages. They're living on turnover luck. and I don't think they're actually a better team than Alabama. So if I was going to pick an opponent that Alabama could beat in the first round, not named Tulane or James Madison, Oklahoma would have been the team. So I actually kind of like the draw.
But OU, they are going for their third win over Bama in 13 months.
That's crazy.
That is
crazy. That's insane. But
When Nick Saban didn't lose to anybody for 13 years.
Oh yeah, I mean I totally agree with. But I do think that what we're seeing though, it goes back to the point I made earlier about the evening out of the talent across the sport. I mean, you go and look at the National Signing Day results from last week. I mean, yeah, Alabama, Georgia, they still cleaned up. They did quite well for themselves, but they aren't the dominant, historic, loaded with 5-star hauls that we became accustomed to pre-NIL. Because if you were going to be the 7th 5-star in Alabama's class, that might have been more appealing 8 or 9 years ago. But now it's like, well, why do I want to be the 8th or 9th 4-star in their class when I can go make $2 million to be the top dog in South Carolina's class or wherever it is. I think it's become a little bit more attractive now to go and be the highest paid player somewhere else instead of being the 7th highest paid player at Alabama or Georgia.
No, I think it definitely is. Oh, you mentioned Miami earlier. What do you make of this matchup between them and Texas A&M?
Yeah, I'm actually picking Miami to win that game, but not with a ton of conviction. I think it's probably as good of a matchup as we have in the first round. I mean, Oklahoma Alabama is interesting, but it's a game we've already seen. So in that sense, I think Miami Texas A&M carries more intrigue. Not to mention the obvious intrigue of can Miami validate the fact that it was placed into this bracket? Because I mean, they will just be raked over the coals, as will the selection committee, if they go out there and lay an egg against Texas A&M. So, the Aggies coming in off their first loss, and kind of curious to see how they respond. Meanwhile, Miami, again, I don't know that they necessarily deserve to get in, but they did play pretty well the last month of the season. So, just kind of going off of recent trends and the performance trend line of both teams, I definitely think Miami has a shot.
Boots on the ground information I got from Atlanta over the weekend, from media, from administrators, fans, the conversation seemed to center around, David, that next year, possibly starting next year, that weekend could be very much reimagined, that it would not be a championship game. That 1 and 2 would stay at home, and you could see a Friday game and a Saturday game in what Vanderbilt was trying to put together on the fly last week of play-in games. What do you think about that kind of idea?
I think I like it. I haven't really unpacked the pros and cons of that idea. There will always be a part. I was raised in the golden age of the SEC championship game, and that game, whether
East versus West, by golly.
Yeah, I know, and there's a part of me that's sad, but I'd rather do what you're talking about and have teams play for a spot in the college football playoff than see the SEC championship game continue in this diminished state. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of how I feel to a certain extent about the bowl games too, and why I would really wish they would explore this idea of making the bowls the week 1 game, and make those week 1 matchups really meaningful and fun, and across the board, different teams playing each other in different places. And the SEC championship game had no impact on the college football playoff bracket. That's insane. Why are they playing the game? It wouldn't have mattered. It didn't matter who won, who lost. Nobody.
Bama was in no matter what.
They were, and they didn't even get bumped. Georgia. How does Georgia not jump Ohio State? Look at the victories Georgia has amassed. I mean, Ohio State's resume cannot hold a candle to Georgia's resume. Ohio State's best win is against Texas. That's Georgia's 3rd best win. And you're telling me Georgia won the SEC championship, picked up I believe that was their 2nd or 3rd win over a playoff team, and meanwhile Ohio State doesn't have a single victory over a playoff team, and Georgia doesn't jump Ohio State in the standings. That makes no sense. I will say, it ended up in Georgia's favor, because I do think playing the winner of Ole Miss Tulane is a pretty good draw for Georgia. But no, to your original point, I think I would be in favor of the SEC championship game week being between let's say Vanderbilt and Texas. Winner adds that marquee victory to their resume and probably gets into the playoff. Something like that. I think that would be more impactful and more dramatic, and probably bring the same number of ratings. Because that's what it's all about is the money and the ratings and all that.
That's it.
And why they're going to keep playing the SEC championship game or some version of it. So you know what? If you got to play the game to make the money, pay the players, then at least make it a game that would matter.
David, there's been so many moments the last 2 years when everybody knows, master of the obvious, that Nick Saban is no longer the head coach of Alabama. But Saturday I had one, and I promise you, since seeing this, I can't unsee it. Alabama ran a play, and it wasn't at the end of the game, but they ran a play and then had the lateral pitchy play. Alabama can't line up and run a toss sweep. They got to run a pitchy play.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
I can't unsee it.
Yeah, they're not the physically dominant, bruising, just imposing team that they were in Nick Saban's heyday. And
it looked like something Gus or Hugh Freeze would call.
Yeah, that's a really good kind of observation and thought. I think that embodies their challenge.
Hugh Freeze running his old Briarcrest against St. George's play, or Gus Malzahn running his old Hughes against Lone Oak play.
Oh my gosh, fantastic! No, it does kind of strike you right, because you think about Alabama's best moments this year. It was the first half against Georgia. I mean, it's all scheme based. It's all like Alabama's success and their ceiling is determined by what's going on in Kalen DeBoer's mind. And to his credit, I think he's a brilliant tactician and offensive mastermind. But you're not lining up and killing folks hat on a hat like you used to. And I'll say this too: it's like, to a certain extent, Kalen DeBoer's schematical brilliance right now is being limited by Ty Simpson's inaccuracy. I know there's other factors at play, such as a Ryan Williams that just doesn't quite look the same, and an offensive line that's been up and down. But Ty Simpson is also not making throws that he was making in the first half of the season, because they were unbelievably clutch on third downs and in red zone situations and with the game on the line for what was it, like an 8-game winning streak after they lost it at Florida State. And then here the last 4 or 5 weeks or so, he just has not been quite as dialed in as he was. And I know there's multiple factors to that, but it's one reason why I don't think Alabama's going to make a deep run in this playoff. I think they beat Oklahoma, but I think that'll be about it for them.
I just can't get over that. Sometime last week in Tuscaloosa on those practice fields, they dedicated practice time to the pitchy play.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't help too that you got Jam Miller out, so they're trying to run Daniel Hill, but he doesn't have the breakaway outside perimeter sort of speed as a back that maybe you'd like. So it's weird. Like they're not the Alabama that we're used to seeing. That's for sure.
Definitely not. Something we really haven't had time to talk about, but really big news over the weekend: Matt Campbell going to Penn State. It feels like over the last 5 years, Matt Campbell has been one of the big names in terms of coaching search. Has never taken a different job, but now takes the job at Penn State. What do you make of that move?
Yeah, I think it's a great hire. It took them a long time to get there, but man, once they did. Okay, so I saw something. I believe it was from. Oh gosh, I'm gonna get it wrong, so I don't want to say who it was from. But this is not me, but somebody reported this. Somebody with a pretty good reputation whose information I would trust. I just can't remember who it is. Anyway, basically it was they had the wrong contact information at the beginning of the search. They tried to reach out to Matt Campbell, but they had the wrong number. I mean, how insane is that? And I tend to believe there's some truth in it because, it makes too much sense for Matt Campbell, for Penn State. It shouldn't have taken this long for the two of them to get together, because it's a very natural marriage. And I know if you pair a coach of Matt Campbell's ability, who's won as much as he has at Iowa State, with the resources of Penn State, I think you're going to get a pretty good outcome here. What can I guarantee here and guarantee you he'll be better than James Franklin? No, I can't. James Franklin was pretty doggone good. Mm-hmm. It just got to a point there where they had to make a change to reinvigorate their fans and to keep the donations rolling in so they could pay for next year's roster and sell season tickets.
He's third coach since Joe Paterno. They had Bill O'Brien, then James Franklin, now Matt Campbell. it took the third guy after Coach Bryant for Alabama to win it in Gene Stallings. They missed badly on Perkins and Curry and then got it right.
Yeah, and the program's not bottomed out. It's not in a bad spot. It's a healthy program that had a bad run this year, and so I don't think he's got to dig it out of the pit. Now, of course, they didn't have much of a signing class last week, so that's an issue. But in this portal era, you can get around that. You can figure that out. So I think it's a great hire. I think it's crazy the twists and turns that coaching search took, but at the end of the day, I think I might rather have Matt Campbell than Kalani Sitake. I mean, Kalani Sitake's a really good coach too. Like, don't get me wrong. But I think Matt Campbell's a more natural fit there than Sitake, who, he's kind of spent his whole career.
I like who Iowa State hired, the Washington State coach, after seeing them in Oxford this year.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Jimmy Rogers.
Jimmy Rogers. Yeah, he could do well there. So, yeah, it's. I think Penn State fans should be thrilled. I think it's a really.
Everybody's happy, David.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody's happy, but if I'm a Tulane fan today, I sure ain't happy.
Ooh, man.
No.
But yeah, I mean, in these coaching searches, all you're trying to do is just give your fan base somebody new to get excited about, and Penn State's certainly done that. I don't think they did a bad job at all. It just took them a long time to get there.
Yeah, all things considered, I think a great hire for Penn State. But David, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your week. We'll talk to you again next Monday.
All right, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, David. David Cobbin. He was there Friday night. Did you hear the Kentucky fans booing at halftime, Brian, when they left the court at halftime?
As they should. I mean, the team clearly isn't playing hard. Clearly, they don't like each other. I mean, the team's terrible.
The $24 million team.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. Everybody knows how much that team cost, and seeing them give that effort and playing that way and seeing that they can't shoot, I mean, what are we spending all this money for?
It was stunning to hear that booing in Nashville. David was there. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Landers Ford in Collierville, the #1 Ford dealership in the Mid-South. Landers Ford, your trusted destination, and they have a vehicle that fits any lifestyle, any budget. There's a price point for you. Seamless shopping experience from vehicle choice to financing and service, from the Ford Escape to the rugged F-150 to the adventurous Bronco. Every vehicle built Ford tough. The Ford F-150, America's best-selling truck. SUVs like the Ford Escape, the Ford Expedition, the Ford Explorer, Ford Broncos, EVs, hybrids, and the transparency and professionalism that you get at Landers Ford in Collierville. They're building a long-term relationship, and you get long-term support at Landers Ford. Oil changes, tires rotated. Go online and schedule when it suits you the best in Collierville at 2082 West Poplar Avenue, or you can go to LandersFordMemphis.com. If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
Well, we need to get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for our Sissy's Log Cabin look back at the weekend in the SEC.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about everything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Kevin Harlan here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner for a battle between 2 playoff-bound teams when the Los Angeles Chargers take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are 8-4, but have lost 2 straight. Chargers also 8-4. They're coming off a win. Don't miss it. Eagles at the Chargers on Monday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Yeah, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/play.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis. This traffic report is brought to you by Millington Weight Loss. For more information, call 901-436-0272.
Sports 56 traffic.
Crash out here. Looks like it just happened. It's got the left lane blocked. 40 eastbound. It's going to be out here at Canada Road where traffic's already heavy. Try to get out to Fayette County. Again, it's still here in Shelby County. It's 40 eastbound. Again, this access got traffic really slow at Canada Road. Give yourself a little bit of extra time out in this area as it builds through Midtown, 240 southbound at South Parkway. Hey, give the gift of clean this holiday season. Save 40% off Zips Car Wash. Gift cards and wash books. Check them out, zipscarwash.com. I'm committed.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Time for a look back at the weekend in the SEC. Brought to you by Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies with 9,000 square foot in Laurelwood. Let's go inside the SEC with Bryant and Brett.
Chad Kelly in the gun formation. 3rd and inches for Ole Miss.
Carlton will kick it. It is on the way, and it is up.
Buck Bellew looking at it, going to pitch it to Herschel Walker, try to get him outside. He's going to get 5.
The snap is high. Kelly grabs it, wants to throw, fires it up in the air. Treadwell can't get it. It is good! Oh, my! Get a deflection is caught! Deflection is caught! And down the sidelines is Adebayo. He's to the end zone. He's in there. Touchdown, Ole Miss.
He's got 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. He needs a block. There goes Herschel. There goes Herschel.
And you can wrap this one in maroon and white, my friends.
Arkansas is headed to Atlanta.
The national champion is clad in big orange.
Saturday's SEC Championship game, edition number 34. Georgia had to win 34 for Herschel Walker, didn't they?
Had to.
Only the greatest running back in college football history from Wrightsville, Georgia, and Johnson County High School. Well, they did 28-7. Maybe the most underappreciated player in college football is Gunnar Stockton. 20 of 26. Yeah. That sounds big, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Only 156 yards. Mm-hmm. That sounds little, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. But 3 touchdowns sounds real big, and that's kind of Gunnar Stockton. Yeah. All he does is beat you. 39 yards rushing, but no turnovers, not even close to one. Really in control. Ty Simpson, he wasn't. He had the interception, and the Bama run game, non-existent. I know with quarterback sacks is a lot of the reason why, but to see a Alabama team with -3 yards rushing, it's hard to believe.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, you take that away, and it's still, I mean, what, 26 yards? No, 25 yards. So, I mean, if you just take away Ty Simpson and all of his negative yards, it's still only 25 yards of total rushing, which is insane to see. And it's
2.5 first downs.
I mean, it's what Alabama's been running the ball pretty much all season. You thought early in the season that when Jam Miller returned that would change, but it really didn't. And they just have not been able to run the ball all season long and just couldn't get anything going on Saturday.
And as I said earlier, if anybody doubted Nick Saban was gone, well, -3 yards rushing, that's a good sign. And him sitting on the game day set with a headset on instead of in coaching attire is a pretty good sign. Into the full second year is a pretty good sign. But then the pitchy play. I guess it wasn't full pitchy. That's 2 pitchies. That was just the pitchy play. Uh-huh. And it's not full woo-woo unless you do it like 6 or 7 times, is it?
Yeah, when you start.
Pitchy woo-woo 6 or 7.
That's what everybody on the field's touching the ball at that point.
It was hard to believe. And like I said to David, to think that practice time was dedicated to that instead of in short yardage, into the boundary on the hash mark. Let's have a tight end in the slot, bring somebody in motion, and crack some heads.
Yeah. But no. We gotta pitch it around and try to do some trick plays. I mean, it was all Georgia all afternoon.
It really was. And Kirby, I guess he didn't ever slay the CNS Coach Nick Saban Dragon, but he slayed the Bama Dragon on Saturday, and they got the win.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good time to do it, and hey, it gave me my evening, and there was like an hour, 2 hours where I had nothing to watch. I turned the game off in the third quarter, but when it got 21-0, I said, why am I watching this anymore? I mean, it's all Georgia, and I went and watched something else. I mean, I guess I was at the basketball game for most of it, but I was watching it, and it's like, man, there's really nothing to watch here. It's
for a lot of reasons, I can't repeat what I sat there in just stunned amazement, saying Alabama just ran.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
That.
I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe the whole game, the way that Georgia was able to win this. Because, I mean, even if there was so much talk, so much back and forth last week about, okay, who wins the SEC championship game, whatever. Even if you thought Georgia was no doubt going to win the SEC championship game on Saturday, nobody thought it would come in that fashion where Alabama doesn't score until the fourth quarter. I mean, that was unbelievable. You talk about knowing a difference. The time I knew that Nick Saban was no longer the head coach at Alabama for one and final time was when Alabama did not score in the SEC championship game until the fourth quarter when nobody cared anymore.
It was so far-fetched believing that it happened, Brian. I would put it in a few weeks of walking in and seeing Dad eating the cookies and the milk and not Santa. And we know that's what happens. We know Santa eats the cookies and milk, right?
Santa's the one. Yeah, of course, Brett. I mean, who else would be eating the cookies and the milk?
Who else could be? Georgia on their way to the Sugar Bowl. They're waiting the winner of Ole Miss in Georgia. Ole Miss will host in the college football playoffs against Tulane. Yeah, they met earlier this year, and I said all year I thought it was the best 4 quarters. It was the only real 4-quarter put-together game all year by Ole Miss. That game will be on Saturday afternoon, December 20th. Alabama, that lost on Saturday, they will play Oklahoma and be trying to win for the first time over OU. They've lost 2 other times in the last 13 months. This game will be in Norman, and that will be the Friday night standalone game.
Yeah, so that will be fun. I mean, that is a really, really big game. How about this? I mean,
winner goes to the Rose Bowl.
Yes, that's awesome. Why couldn't we have had, like, I don't know, James Madison, Oregon on Friday night, and then had Alabama, Oklahoma
Here's
on
why
Saturday
I think. Because Friday night, Friday night's ABC.
Okay.
And I don't think they wanted to farm that game out to them.
Huh. Interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, it's college football playoffs. So, I mean, I guess, that game's on TNT, but, I mean,
No, Friday's got to be on ABC.
Oh, that's what. No, but I'm saying the Oregon James Madison game's on TNT. So, like, they're not going to be on ABC, but it's college football playoffs. ESPN owns it. If Oregon wins, they're going to be on ESPN eventually, or an ESPN station eventually. So, I mean, I'm just mad. I'm not going to get over it. The fact that I have to sit and watch James Madison in Oregon in a primetime game on Saturday night when we have so many other good games that are just getting put at different, like, spots that aren't as big as primetime on a Saturday night.
Now, I think that Friday night game between Bama and OU on ABC, I think that will draw 12 to 15 million.
No, it is. It's going to be an awesome game. Everybody's going to be watching it. I would just rather it be on Saturday night in primetime when I know I'm going to be watching college football.
What will Oregon and JMU get on Saturday night on TNT?
I mean, they'll get a lot, I think, because
7 million?
I think it would be around
up against NFL.
Oh, do we have Saturday NFL this week?
I don't know if we have Saturday night NFL. I'm sorry. That may not be right. We got Saturday noonish, 3 o'clock-ish, don't we, NFL?
Yeah, that's right.
That day.
Yeah, I don't know about a night game.
There's not a night game.
Okay, so I mean,
I was wrong.
So yeah, I mean, you have it by yourself, so we'll get a lot, but you know, I mean,
no. I was right. 7:20 Bears and Packers at Soldier Field.
Oh yeah, so you are.
That will maul Oregon and JMU.
It sure will. That really will. So yeah,
Eagles in Washington
at
4 o'clock on Fox. So that'll be at kind of halftime of Ole Miss Tulane. And it will maul that. Ole Miss Tulane, 4 to 6 million. A&M and Miami, 6 or 7 million in the morning.
Probably.
But in the morning, like Christmas shopping time of year.
That's true.
Egg Bowl drew 6 million day after Christmas, with everybody going shopping, everything, and John Calipari. And he should be, but he's so proud of that 6 million Arkansas and Duke got in prime time, dragging that NFL audience into it. And Ole Miss, the Egg Bowl got the same thing.
Sure did, yeah. So I mean, I don't know what it's going to draw. It's going to draw really well because it's the playoffs and everybody's going to be watching. But also, and I'm happy for Ole Miss that they got the 6th seed. Very happy for them. Very happy for you, Brett.
Thank you.
I mean,
Brett's very happy.
I've already seen this game. I know how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be the guy that says, let's move Ole Miss just so we don't see this game again. But, like, I would have liked to see them play somebody else in the first round.
Now, I think Tulane and JMU, they should be in. That was the deal we signed up for.
I'm not mad that either of them are in this.
Let's just don't sign up for it again.
I'm not mad at all that Tulane is in there. I'm not mad at all that James. Look, I was the same guy on Friday saying, I want chaos. I want this to be as wild as can be.
We got chalk again. We've had chalk really all year.
Yeah, I just don't want the power, or I mean, excuse me, the group of 5 team that made it because the ACC champion was so bad to be on my primetime game, and I don't want to see the Tulane Ole Miss game again because I know how that game plays out. So I say I'm fine with it, but maybe I'm not. I don't know.
Bama 1.5-point favorite at Oklahoma. A&M 4-point favorite at home against the U, and Ole Miss 17 and excuse me, I'm sorry. Ole Miss 17.5. Just when I thought I'd cleared my voice.
Man, I thought
maybe I just cleared it for an hour and a half.
I thought you were all through.
I did too. Ole Miss 17.5 over Tulane.
You're just choked up about the college football playoffs. You love them so much that you just get choked up thinking about them.
There's some of me that I do feel for Notre Dame today. I do. There's some of me.
I like the way that
not a lot of me,
David
but some
put
of
it. I mean, the way David put it is you could have had them flipped all year long if you wanted to, and you didn't. And then so you kind of already set the precedent of Notre Dame is ahead of Miami, and then when it all is said and done, without either team playing a game, you flip it in the middle of the night and release it Sunday
morning. The whole bowl thing, Brian, how many times have I said, if you don't want to play, nobody's making you?
No, absolutely not.
No, you can come and go anytime you want.
That's right.
Coaches can, players can, heck, schools can. So the fact that they didn't want to go to the Pop-Tarts Bowl, okay, fine. I don't think it's going to be held against them in the future. In fact, next year's contract, through a memorandum of understanding they've already signed, it's even easier next year for Notre Dame to get in that 12, and it's going to be the end of the group of 5. I mean, they're in it for the rest of the time.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. So yeah, that was interesting today. But no, I mean, I don't. I hate it in a sense of what that probably means for the future of bowl games. But at the same time,
market speaking,
Notre Dame felt like they were wronged, and they are a program that was just in the national championship, and they view their program as a team that we're competing for championships, and we're not competing for meaningless bowl games. And when they got into a meaningless bowl game, they said we don't want to be a part of it, and so they said we're not.
And now, if you're not in the college football playoff, you look at the rest of the bowl season, every one of them as the NIT, and people don't go to the NIT every year.
That's right. Yeah, no, you're right.
They pass on.
We're seeing a lot of teams pass on the NIT in college basketball, so it feels like we're going to start seeing the same with college football. So I don't know, I don't know what you do. I'd love to still see a lot of bowl games for Group of 5 teams and stuff like that. I mean, Brett, let me tell you something. The bowl game I'm looking forward to the most is the New Orleans Bowl. I love the New Orleans Bowl, and I think this year's matchup,
Western Kentucky and Southern Miss.
Yeah, even though Southern Miss doesn't have a head coach, obviously, I'm excited for it. So I think bowl games still matter, but when you look at these power conference teams and some of these bowl games that are tied in with that, again, we talk about it all the time throughout the season. There are teams out there that their goal is to go to the playoffs, so when they don't get into the playoffs, they're looking at that bowl game. That might be a great bowl game, and they're going, this is a disappointing season because we're going to X bowl game.
That's our look back at the weekend in the SEC, brought to you every Monday by Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler for the hometown teams like the Tigers and the Grizzlies, and at FedEx Forum with the 4-seat lounge at Memphis Grizzlies games. The Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry at that great 9,000 square foot store in Laurelwood. So decorated so nicely for the holiday season at Poplar and Perkins since 1970, with all the great locations across the Mid-South. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Let's get to another break. When we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis has serious vans for serious work. At 4430 American Way, they are the Mid-South source for cargo, passenger, crew vans, and custom chassis. Need one or a full fleet? New or used, they've got it with fleet solutions and custom upfits. Certified techs keep you moving with fast maintenance, repairs, and a large parts inventory. Mercedes-Benz Van Center is your Sprinter Van headquarters. 901-237-9302 or sprintervans.com. Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis, part of the Tag Truck Center family, driven to keep you on the road.
I somehow got on a Memphis barbecue algorithm on my phone.
Any chance it's because you constantly look up your own Central Barbecue radio spots?
I do not.
Seriously, come on, show me your browser history.
I will not. And it's not because of me looking up my own Central Barbecue spots. It's other stuff. But like I said, I'm on this Memphis barbecue algorithm, and I'm happy to say it's almost all people saying how great Central Barbecue is.
Well, of course, you can't beat Central Barbecue. It's the best barbecue in the world. Okay, what other stuff's on your browser history?
Can we just focus on doing a Central Barbecue spot?
Give me that phone.
Get off! Get off!
I say this all the time. Insurance companies aren't in the business of protecting you. They're in the business of protecting their profits. Their number one goal, avoid paying any claim they can get out of. These policies, home, life, and auto, are written in legal jargon on purpose, not for clarity, for confusion. Buried in that fine print are exclusions, loopholes, and coverage gaps you'll never catch on your own. You might think you're covered, but you don't actually know. Most people only find out when something goes wrong, and by then it's too late. That's why you should look at My Policy Advocate. Upload your policy. Break it down. It does so in plain English, telling you where you're covered and exposed and where your insurance company can deny you. Right now, through the end of the year, it's just $79 for an entire year, practically nothing. And it could save you tens of thousands of dollars when life happens. Don't leave it to chance. Go to mypolicyadvocate.com. Take 5 minutes. Make sure you're actually protected.
To NST, it's never just another case. It's your shot at getting life back on track. Real help, real heart. 35 years and still winning. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or go online at nstlaw.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers, Ford, and Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
When you hear
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brown. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
What up, big guy? I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number of the day is, there's a lot of big numbers in this. We'll go with the number 0. Maybe the smallest big number you can have out there.
It'd be a first.
It might be. My big number is the number 0. It comes from the NFL, and after what we saw last night in Sunday Night Football, the Texans with a 20-10 win over the Kansas City Chiefs. This big number comes into play. Former MVPs versus the Houston Texans defense this season. They've played 2 former MVP quarterbacks, Josh Allen and last night, Patrick Mahomes. In those games, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes combined for 5 interceptions. They were sacked 10 times, and they combined for 0 passing touchdowns. No other team in NFL history has had 10 or more sacks and 5 or more interceptions against former MVPs in a season while holding them to 0 passing touchdowns. This Houston Texans defense is elite, and they played like it last night. Again, that 20-10 win held Patrick Mahomes to only 160 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions.
Are you ready for playoffs that won't have Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, or Joe Burrow in it?
I don't even know
it happens.
What to think about that. But yeah, it's what we're gonna get.
It's not whether I prefer it or not. Look, we moved on from Favre, Marino, Elway, Favre, Peyton, Brady, and every phase moves on.
Yeah. No, it does, and it's gonna look different this year. I mean, especially
Drew Brees.
Yeah, I mean that Chiefs dynasty that we've watched over the last handful of years. I don't know if I want to say it's coming to an end, but certainly ain't gonna be there this year.
I don't know if that I'm that ready for the Bo Nix Drake May playoffs.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
Not one less TV viewer will be because of that.
Oh no, definitely not.
Not one. No. Ratings won't suffer a bit.
No, not at all.
We're ready for in the NFC, Jordan Love in Stafford, big names.
Sure.
Yeah. So the NFC would prop it up, but that AFC roster, if the playoffs started today, quarterbacks.
No, they will be very, very different. I'm excited about it.
My big number, this year it was 2 years of it's been 2 years now, 12 teams, college football playoffs, and that's why my big number is 7. We've had 7 different SEC teams out of the 2 years. Georgia both years, Texas and Tennessee last year. This year, Ole Miss, A&M, Oklahoma, and Bama. So 7 different teams out of the 16 over 2 years. I wonder if we'll ever complete that every single one of them makes playoffs. I guess we'll get them big enough that everybody will get in. But in those 2 years that we've had 7 different, LSU and Florida, neither year.
Yeah, and that's crazy to think about. I mean, when's the next time one of those teams get in? I mean,
you got to think with the coaching changes, they're expecting, if not next year, the second year.
It's got to happen. If not, you're making change. But we talk about all the time. I mean, someone's got to win, someone's got to lose, and I mean, those 2 teams have done it with several coaches, so we'll see if it works out for them.
For South Carolina, Vandy, and Mizzou these last 2 years. If you didn't do it in those 2 years, when are you doing it?
Well, I mean, Vanderbilt, Brett, we're about to see the Vandy dynasty. I mean, bringing in 5-star quarterbacks and good recruiting classes. I mean, I've got a lot more confidence in Vanderbilt than some of those other teams.
We didn't think Mizzou would dip this year like that.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
South Carolina preseason was...
Oh, they were the darling of the preseason.
They were.
Yeah.
Then that leads to Kentucky, Arkansas, Mississippi State. They have to look to Ole Miss as the model.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear 2 of those 3 constantly saying, if Ole Miss can do it, why can't we? We'll do it.
That's right. I mean, you see the blueprint is now laid out right in front of you. Go out and try. And those 3 schools that you just mentioned, 2 of them with a new coach this year, the other one with a younger coach. So, I mean, this is the time to try to start building off of that blueprint and try to work towards that. But
if it's so easy, go do it.
Man, it feels like it's going to be a long ways for all three of those programs to get to.
Check back with me and tell me how easy it was.
Exactly. It does not feel like it's going to be very easy for either any of those schools that you just mentioned. But yeah, 7 teams. That's it's pretty impressive, and we'll see when's the next time they add to that. If it's next year with one of those teams that maybe made a coaching change, or if we're waiting a little bit more time. And certainly, like
last
I said,
year 3, this year 5, but 7 different. So over 2 years, average of 4.
Yeah,
I would have thought it would have been 5.
Yeah, no, definitely.
The average.
Last year we were talking about, before last year
5 and 5.
started,
Yeah.
We were talking about, could there be 5, 6, 7 teams that make it from the SEC?
Here's one. Everybody fighting today about Miami and Notre Dame. Why not Vanderbilt over either one of them this year?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'd love it. I anchor down, so I would. I'd be in favor of them.
Vandy's 2 losses to Bama and Texas.
No, I mean those
That's
are
great losses.
2 unbelievable losses. So yeah, I mean I think obviously the versus kind of makes that the big deal with Miami and Notre Dame, with one getting in and the other not. That's
and
why
never trailed in that game. That was the Sunday night of Labor Day weekend. They never trailed, and I don't remember how many yards, but I know they held the Notre Dame running back, the great running back, to under 50 yards rushing.
Yeah, no, Jeremiah Love had a slow start to that game for sure, and so yeah, I mean that's a big reason why they switched it. Again, you had all year to switch it and have Miami in front, and man, the way Miami ended the season, I don't know. I am curious to see how they look in this game against Texas A&M. But we need to wrap up this second hour, get to another break, and when we return, we're talking the Grizzlies to Michael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. He joins us next.
Hey, everybody out there. Walker Taylor with Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Football season is upon us. Nothing better for your next tailgate party than a barbecue buffet spread provided by the Germantown or Collierville Commissary. Catering, self-serve or full, is a specialty of ours. No party too small, no party too large. You can check out our pricing and the items we feature at commissarybbq.com. Holidays will be upon us soon. At our Collierville location, we have a party room for 30 up to 100, perfect for family, business, or church functions. We also have a patio at the Collierville location, perfect in the fall for enjoying football and eating barbecue. Monday through Friday at the Collierville location, we also offer an all-you-can-eat buffet featuring barbecue pulled pork, ribs, fried chicken, and catfish. Each location also offers a $10.95 lunch special, a sandwich, a side, and a drink. Please come visit us at the original in Germantown by the railroad tracks or our new location in Collierville at Houston Levy and Poplar. And as always, go Tigers go.
If you're thinking of selling your home, think of me, Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf, because I've got the tools. No, I can't fix anything around the house. Heck, I never even finished my shoe shine kit in high school shop. And if you play golf with me, you'll see why I'm known as the worst golfer in town. And they call me Mr. Three-Putt or Sheldon the Shank. But I have all the tools to get your home sold. I have a highly successful strategic marketing program that can mean the difference in what you make and when. And I'm part of a nationwide relocation network that provides many more transferred buyers coming into our market. Always interview 2 to 3 brokers. Make sure you include me, the bald, bad golfer who people say when you want the job done, call Sheldon. Reach me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's right, my website says it all. memphisrelocate.com, or anytime call me at 483-0546.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting to load up with more volume over here on 40 eastbound as you come past Sycamore View Road all the way out into Fayette County. That normal buildup now on 240 right on to 385 Billmore. Parkway headed on out towards Collierville. Expect that to get a little bit heavier in the next few minutes. Hey, give the gift of clean this holiday season. Save 40% off right now. Zips Car Wash, gift cards, and wash books. They're perfect stocking stuffers. Just check out zipscarwash.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our third and final hour on this Monday afternoon. We got to talk the Grizzlies, and joining us to do that, like he does every single Monday afternoon, DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. He joins us now. DeMichael, thanks so much for joining us. The Grizzlies win again last night over the Trailblazers. They're now 11-13 on the season, just a couple games away from getting back to 500. It really feels like, especially after that rut they were in, the losing streak, it feels like everybody questioning whether the team's on the same page. It feels like they're starting to get on the same page. Coaches and players, they're playing a lot better. They're playing a lot harder. What have you seen over the last week from this Grizzlies team?
Yeah, it's a combination of those things. You know, I think the good you can say is they're playing better, and I guess the other part of it that you have to factor in is, yes, the schedule. You know, it's a little weaker now.
Sure.
You know, they have one win this season, I think, against a team that's currently above 500, and that's the Phoenix Suns. But the rest of the wins are against teams, below 500. So, and same thing for the losses. Pretty much I think all of those all of those losses are against teams that are above 500 or at 500, because I believe the Warriors are 12-12, something like that. But yeah, so what they've done is a good job of kind of just getting back to the basics and kind of finally looking like they have an identity, right? The offense still isn't strong, but that's okay because you're missing all of your point guards. Like I can't think of too many teams that would have an elite offense without quality point guard play. So when you factor that part of it in, I think what the Grizzlies have done a good job of is really zeroing in and becoming a better defensive team, and that's something that's really stood out. You go back to a couple of weeks ago, the Grizzlies were in the bottom third of the NBA in defense, and in offense. And while they remain there on the offensive end, the defense has been, near league best. You go over the last 5 games, the Grizzlies are 3rd in the NBA in defensive rating. So that change in part has kind of led to them now. I believe they're 10th overall in defensive rating, and 2 weeks ago they were 21st, I believe. So, just defensively is where the biggest changes come. A lot of that is Zach Edey. A lot of that is when you lose a Ja Morant and then you insert a Vince Williams Jr. in the starting lineup. Now you're Vince Williams, Cedric Coward, Jalen Wells across the perimeter. It's a pretty tough group, of 3 of the team's best defenders. You got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope still coming off the bench behind that group. So you got a lot of solid defenders getting time. And then it's tough to on Zach Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr. at the rim. Same thing. It's just small sample size with the last 5 games. But if you go to points in the paint allowed, the Grizzlies are number 1 in the NBA over the last 5 games. I think they've allowed around 41 points in the paint. But as you go back to the beginning of the season, that was an issue. Teams were having their way at the paint because, with Jock Landale and even with Jaren, it just wasn't much rim protection. But Zach Edey's availability has kind of changed that.
DeMichael, as you said, a lot of things have kind of conspired for this better stretch. That patch of schedule has been a little bit easier, getting warm bodies, still without point guard. Has Tomas Isolo been better in this stretch than earlier in the year?
I think he's been better. Again, I still have my my critiques and whatnot. Like, you take a couple games ago, they won, and Zach Edey came out of the game, I think, with about 4 minutes left, and it was the Clippers game. Zach Edey came out of the game, and they closed well and won that game. But I'm looking at that situation like, what if you were playing, an elite level team? You wouldn't be able to justify taking Zach Edey out of the game with 4 minutes left. Yeah, exactly. So, there are certain decisions that I'm like, hey, you're getting away with them right now because you're not playing, the Thunder, or you're not playing, these elite teams where one mistake can pretty much change the direction of the game. Whereas they're playing teams right now, it's like, oh, okay, you can make that mistake, get away with it, get it back on the next possession or in the next quarter and things like that. So there's a little more room for error, so to speak. But I do think, he's learning the personnel better. He started to switch up some of the rotations. Like, that's something he's talked about. They're developing counters, which I think is really important because I think I mentioned it on here before, but at the beginning of the season, a lot of the coaches that I talked to around the league, just about preparing for the Grizzlies, they were using Paris basketball film. Like, they're watching Paris basketball to kind of get more of an idea of what, Isolo is going to do. But now we're starting to see teams, hey, call out this play, call out this action. Oh, the Grizzlies are going to get to the second action. Like, they have a better idea, and you're starting to see Isolo, and he was talking to me about this the other day, developing counters, right? Like, hey, they know this is coming, but we have a counter for that because they're going to probably jump this and expecting this to happen, and we have counters. So I think, he's learning the team, he's learned the personnel, he's adjusted the rotation some, and he's developing those counters. All of those are good coaching signs, but I'm not fully convinced at the end of the day this style right now, when you play those top teams, I feel like those are the games you're gonna have to, you have to play your best players a little bit more. Like, you can get away with it when Portland, who has a decent starting lineup, goes to their bench, and their bench is pretty much mostly guys who aren't, really good players either. But there are certain teams out there when they go to some of their reserves and they stick with their starters a little bit longer, it's going to be a sizable talent difference if you don't play your best guy.
Yeah, I absolutely will be. You look at Cedric Coward in his rookie season, he's still averaging about 13.5 points per game, but you look at the three-point shooting, we all knew that it wasn't going to stay around that 75% mark he was shooting through the first couple weeks of the season, but you look ever since the game at Dallas on November 22nd, 3 for 32 from 3. What are you seeing from Cedric Coward and his three-point shooting?
Man, I think for me, a lot of the Cedric Coward struggles, I mean, it's make and miss, But at the same time, I just feel like, just based off the small sample size that we've seen, he's played his best when they've had point guards available, and when they haven't had point guards available, even going to the preseason. In the preseason, he was struggling. That was when a lot of the point guards were out, right? And Javon Small was in and out. Ty Jerome, after a couple preseason games, didn't play anymore. Same thing with Scottie Pippen Jr. John didn't play in the preseason. So we saw him struggling then, but as John, got back in the lineup, a couple other guys, seemed like he got, more quality looks, and you're seeing him get some more reps on the ball. That's why he's shooting the mid-range jumper a little bit more, because I think he's just flowing into that better than just hanging around at the three-point line. The one thing that's really missing right now offensively is you don't have, a bunch of, guards who are really effective, like dribble penetrators. Like when Cam Spencer drives, he usually is getting to that little pull-up mid-range shot, or he's going to kick it. Same thing Vince Williams is driving. For the most part, he's trying to draw the defense so he can give Zach Edey the ball, or he can kick it out to the corner to Santi or something like that. So, and Jaren just hasn't been as forceful offensively as we're used to seeing. So I just don't think we're seeing, those type of quality looks that he was getting, early in the season as often. So I think, as the point guards come back, as Ja gets back, and a couple of those other point guards, you'll start to see, as a result, his shot quality, at least from the three-point line, will be better and just be more of a flow. And I think that'll kind of impact his percentage numbers. They'll go back up.
DeMichael, I've been a heavy critic of the front office, but they can really say, hey, pipe down with these last two drafts. You go Zach Edey, Jalen Wells, Cam Spencer, Coward. They've had good drafts.
Yeah, all rotation players right now, and all players who are playing a big part in what this team's doing. I mean, we're talking about these last 5-6 games, you can make an argument that the 2024 draft class, Cam Spencer, Jalen Wells, and Zach Edey have been the three best players.
Yes.
For the Grizzlies in that stretch. You can make that argument. And you can make the argument that Cedric Coward comes in right behind them. Yeah. Like, you can make that same argument. Yeah, those four players have been huge. I think when they drafted these guys, it was all kind of centered around these guys being complementary players to the stars, but we're starting to see that shift a little bit. Like they were supposed to be these complementary players to Ja, Jaren, etc. And I still think that can be the case. But, Zach Edey, right? Like, we're seeing more scoring from him, with the low post touches and things like that. It's not just get an offensive rebound and go up, and score when you get off. It's get down there when you got a mismatch, seal. I mean, when they played the Clippers, it just, there was one stretch that just stood out to me. It was when Zubac was out of the game and Zach Edey was in, and that was very rare. And the Clippers' backup big was a undersized guy. And when I tell you that next possession, like the Grizzlies just kept trying to get the ball, entry pass to Edey. They would throw it into him. He'd throw it back out. They throw it back into him. And I'm like, okay, they get it now. Like they're using him pretty much. That's what you saw a lot of at Purdue. Like get him the ball in the paint. He doesn't like the spot. Let him, get to where he wants to get to. Get the ball back to him after he gets back in the paint. Gets back on the block to where he wants to be. So, and then, of course, Cam Spencer and Jalen Wells, the shooting. But you're starting to see, like, Cam Spencer's playing more point guard. Like, just had a 6-assist game. He's been one of your better playmakers during this stretch. So these guys were kind of expected to do certain things, and they've, I think, been better in those areas. And, of course, Cedric Coward was always expected to kind of be an all-around guy, with his shooting, scoring, rebounding, defending. But, I mean, Jalen Wells defensively, what he's able to do, in addition to the three-point shooting. Cam Spencer, the playmaking, he's been one of the team's better playmakers. And then, of course, Zach Edey with the scoring. Again, I mean, his mobility on defense, him kind of being a defensive anchor right now, you can say that's a mild surprise, too. So it's kind of a case of, man, those guys are even exceeding the expectations that were placed on them when they were drafted.
DeMichael, the great Elliot Perry on radio was making the case last night during the game about Cam Spencer. that there's something to having a champion, and he was that at UConn, having a champion, that DNA, that type of player in your locker room, that helps. And if Elliot Perry says it, I believe it.
Yeah, EP knows what it takes to win, and he knows, having winners around is important. But yeah, Cam Spencer having that winning mentality, it stands out because he's such a selfless player. And I always say this, like, a lot of times I feel like, guys just say the right things in interviews, right? When they say, I just want to do this for the team, or I just want to do that for the team, I'm like, man, come on. You want your 20 points a game, too. You want your 10 rebounds. You want this numbers. You want that numbers. But with Cam Spencer, like, I remember one time, like, I was asking him, does he prefer playing on the ball and off the ball? And he basically said, should I play center if they needed me to? And I believe him. Like he's going to go out there and compete and just do whatever, it takes. He doesn't care about, getting a floor burn. He doesn't care about taking an elbow if it means stealing an extra possession and things like that. He's a selfless guy, and all of that those are winning habits. That's just knowing, hey, we got to do what we got to do. We got to sacrifice what we have to sacrifice for a winning purpose. It's not about egos. Cam Spencer could have pouted it plenty of times, when he wasn't in a rotation last season, or even this season when he, didn't get much burn, initially. And now he's playing as well as he's playing. But no, he's just taking this opportunity and running with it.
Talking to Michael Cole, he joins us every Monday from the Commercial Appeal. Ja Morant feels like we're getting very close to a return. Do you think we see him out there Friday night, and what will that look like? He hasn't played since November 15th, and in that game only played about 6 minutes. What do you expect to see from Ja Morant when he returns, and when do you think that will be?
Yeah, I do think Friday is a good landing spot for him. I think, just where he is, he probably could have played in that last game. It's just the fact that, you got to be smart about the standpoint of, look, if he, after this last game against the Blazers, one that you have a good chance of winning without Ja, and they won without Ja, you got Monday off, and then you have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You got 3 days before the game, so possibly a couple practices, if not a couple, one practice in there where he can, really kind of ramp up the intensity, right? One of the things that they talked about they wanted to do is, get him, in contact drills and things like that. And I think at that point, in this practice, they'll see that, and he'll be ready to go. But yeah, when he's out there, one of the things that I've been paying attention to is how he interacts with Zach Edey. Zach Edey's taken his game to a whole other level since the last time, he's played on the floor with Ja Morant. But Ja is one who's always been, the type of guy to want to feed his teammates when he sees those mismatches. So just curious to see how that duo kind of, plays off of each other. I think it could be a nice thing, but also the other part of that is, the space that Zach Edey creates, for the drivers. Those other guys, when they come off that screen and that guard is trailing behind them, they're not as explosive as a Ja Morant to go to the rim and finish. But Ja has that ability, so I want to see just what the addition of Zach Edey and the space that he can kind of, give you with his strength set and what that will mean for Ja. Ja hasn't played efficient offensive basketball this season, but if there's a chance for him to get back going in the right direction, it's with Zach Edey on the floor and the way Jalen Wells and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and those guys are shooting the basketball right now. This is what he's wanted. Like when Ja was struggling, he kept saying, "We don't have space. We don't have space."
Yeah.
Now you got guys shooting the ball better. You got Zach Edey setting screens. I'm looking to see Ja come back and show that, hey, look, what we saw earlier this season, that wasn't the best form of me at all. There's still levels that he can get to.
Yeah. You mentioned Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. The Grizzlies moved him to the bench, and I think has taken on that role really well. What have you seen from KCP in this role off the bench?
Yeah, I think he's handled it well, too. He's handled it well, and he's shooting the basketball better. Like I said, he was someone who was dealing with the elbow thing, earlier in the season, feeling a little bit better there. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, man, he's battle-tested. He's came off the bench. He started. He's been in and out of lineups before. Like, this is all part of, someone who's been experienced and understands, hey, when I go in there, I got to make the most of my opportunity. He's still learning his teammates and things like that. So, yeah, I do think that Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is playing better basketball right now and his best basketball since he joined the Grizzlies.
Yeah, it's a weird week around the NBA with the NBA Cup. Like you mentioned, Grizzlies don't play again till Friday. Hopefully, we're able to see Ja Morant out there in that game against the Utah Jazz. But, DeMichael, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your week, and we'll do it again next Monday.
All right, take care, guys.
Thanks, DeMichael.
DeMichael Cole with us on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. He's with us every Monday live at 5, talking all things Grizzlies. He's on the beat for the Commercial Appeal. And I like what he said about Ja, but before he was out, he was not in a great offensive groove.
No, he wasn't. And so, I think the big question we were waiting on when Zach Edey returned is, how does he play with Zach Edey in there? We know Ja Morant, he thrives in the pick and roll offense, and so now you've got a really good
changed.
Yeah, I mean it definitely helps when you've got we talked about a lot. I think Jock Landale has done a really nice job in the role that they needed him to come in and do. But
he has in a brawler role.
He really is, and kind of that just you needed a big, and so you go out there and you see what's available, and he was there, and I think he's played his role well. But now you come in and that starting center, it's changed. That's no offense to Jock Landale, but you've got a much bigger, a much better screener, and so I'm really curious to see how it looks with Zach Edey, because he's right. Zach Edey, Zach Edey today and what Zach Edey was the last time that Ja Morant really played with him on the floor, night and day different. And so, I think it's going to be fun to watch, and we'll see if maybe we see the best form of Ja Morant offensively this year in his return.
It is so much fun to go out this time of year and see people out celebrating. You see gifts at tables and special occasions. You see a lot of it at Jim's Place Grill tonight. Fun way to watch Monday Night Football in the bar area and to enjoy that dinner. And you'll see a lot of those happy faces and happy holiday customers at Jim's Place Grill. Over 100 years of celebrating the holidays at Jim's Place. They've celebrated that special family time and made those lasting memories. The Terrace family with their great touch for our community, recipes that date back to the beginning in downtown to now in Collierville at the railroad tracks at Poplar and Houston Levee. Online at jimsplacegrill.com. Don't forget the E in Grill, where every steak is grilled perfectly over an open flame. Come to Jim's Place and taste and see and feel the difference. Lunch hours Monday through Friday, 11 a to 2 p.m. Dinner hours Monday through Saturday, 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Since 1921, a Memphis landmark. Hard work, values, and a dedication to their beloved diners. The Terrace family, they've created that memorable dining experience at lunch. The staples like the souffle ma, the shrimp cocktail, the crab cakes, so salad dressings, all homemade, and that cheeseburger. At dinner time, calamari, soup, seafood, and those steaks, fillets, ribeyes, and strips. Great bar area. Festive time. Best time of the year at Jim's Place Grill in Collierville.
I mentioned it with DeMichael, a weird week in the NBA because of the NBA Cup. You've got
I'm going to celebrate the Cup.
As you should, Brett, hanging banners for it.
Oh, Brian, I tried to stay with the World Cup draw Friday.
It was
I don't know what took longer, the college football show yesterday or the World Cup draw
Brett,
Friday.
It was very long, and thanks to you for bringing it up on Thursday, because I would not have known that it was happening on Friday if it wasn't
I could
for
have
you.
left Far City driving to Washington and been there for the end of it.
It was a very big presentation, Brett. They had a lot of ceremonies. There were a lot of honoring different people. We had some musical performances. I mean, it was.
And I don't mean to be the ugly American, but I needed an interpreter.
Well, that was another thing is when we were.
I don't
talking
speak native Argentinian.
That's right. When we were talking to people from other countries and different parts of the world, we did not know what they were saying, and good for them. But
Brian, I got the plan for me though for World Cup next summer.
Please
leave and go to Springdale, Arkansas. It's about halfway from my home to Kansas City.
Yeah.
Go to Northwest Arkansas Traveler game on Thursday night, Double A baseball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Friday, push it into Kansas City. Right. Cardinals Royals on Friday night.
Oh, wow.
And Curacao and Slovenia, baby.
Woo!
On Saturday.
Yeah, all right.
At Arrowhead.
Oh, that's big time.
Or as Wayne Gretzky called them, Caraco.
Well, hey, look, Wayne Gretzky was
the great one had some pronunciation issues.
He was struggling with some of those countries. A couple of them were. I think Shaq had a little bit of an issue with the country or two. Maybe even Tom Brady.
But Shaq laughed it off.
Oh no, Shaq is a pro. He
Shaq
knows
is
exactly
great
what he's doing.
in anything.
He's awesome. He is.
Shaq could do any sport.
He could.
You could put him on Sunday Night Baseball.
Oh yeah, no, and he'd be really fun.
Now, he may not really contribute anything that much about baseball, but it would be good TV.
It would be. You would enjoy watching it, that's for sure. And I enjoyed watching him on the World Cup draw. I mean, he was really good. And I'll be honest, Brett. Sure, Shaq probably isn't the most knowledgeable in soccer, or football, whatever.
All right, how hard one? You ready?
Please.
Who do you think knows more about soccer, Brett or Shaq?
I'm gonna say Brett, but it's very close. It is very, 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 very close.
It's very limited.
Very limited for both.
I'm going to get World Cup fever, though, next year.
Oh, no, I'm excited about it. I was excited watching the draw.
I'm mad at myself that I didn't in 94.
Yeah. No, man, now you got the opportunity.
I was a big butthead about it and had a chance to go and didn't. And now look at me. I got to have this trip next summer.
Well, Brett, that's right. We all grow as people. And look, you grew, and now you're appreciating the World Cup. And so you're going to get there next year. A group chat I was in earlier, they were trying to figure out what World Cup game they were going to try to go to next year. So it feels like the World Cup fever is starting to take form.
And our friend Chuck Galena is going to be our World Cup analyst next summer because he really knows it.
I love it.
And loves it.
I can't wait. I'm excited about it. I was looking at the one I was looking at was the Netherlands and Japan on a Sunday down in the Big D AT&T Stadium. That could be one to keep an eye on.
Now this shows my ignorance. Will they play that on artificial turf, or do they bring in grass fields?
I know they're
that
very
was an issue in '94.
Yeah, I was about to say I know they're very pro grass, so I don't know how it's going to work. But I know they're playing at AT&T Stadium, and I don't know. Depending on the prices, I might make a day trip out of it.
During the break, check and see my schedule in Kansas City. If it's am I pronouncing it right? Curacao.
You are. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, and very small country. I mean, that'll be a fun one to go to. Very tiny country, but I think it is Curacao.
I'm being told by our analyst Chuck Galena they bring in grass.
That's what I thought.
He's on top of it already for us, delivering for the people.
Like, that's why we need him, because we don't know. Look, we are learning as we go. I enjoy watching soccer more than the next guy.
There's more of a blanker slate than me when it comes to soccer. I need an analyst.
I enjoy watching it.
I need an expert.
Don't know much about it, and so I'm learning as we go. So we appreciate all the help.
I know it's a lot of 1-0 games.
That's right. Well, and a lot of draws, too. Brett, that's the thing. And I know we got to get to a break here in a second, but for a guy that loves ties as much as you do, it feels like soccer would be right up your alley.
And love 1-0 and 2-1 baseball
That's right.
games.
Yeah, it's for someone that loves that type of, that's your pace. It feels like you'd like football a lot more.
It's my own-air New Year's resolution is to be pro World Cup next year.
Wow. And then, Brett,
catch the fever.
That's what's going to happen. You're going to catch the fever, and then you're going to get Premier League fever. How about that? You're going to turn into a Premier League
I think
guy.
that's just going to be a light rash.
I think so. But we're going to get to a break in a second. Before we do that, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984. They've got a talented team ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out those brand new models like the Range Rover Sport, the Range Rover Velar, and the Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to JaguarBluffCity.com. Head out there, 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince for Bluff City Jaguar. Well, let's get to another break, and when we return, we got Monday Night Football tonight. The Eagles and the Chargers. We'll break it down. We'll make our picks. We'll also get to our big four players on the field tonight. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
It's football time in Memphis and soon basketball. And we cannot forget soccer. I'm Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors, and you shouldn't forget real estate, as it's a year-round sport. I've sold homes on every major holiday, including Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and New Year's Day. So don't think spring and summer are the only prime times to sell. What is more important is the prime agent you want representing you, me. With a highly successful strategic marketing program, people often say when you want the job done, call Sheldon. I may be the worst golfer in town and known as Mr. Three-Putt to my so-called friends. I am one tough dude when it comes to selling your home. During the upcoming sports seasons, interview 2 to 3 players, but definitely include me to lead your team. You can reach me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Remember, Sheldon gets it done. Maybe not on the golf course, but I can sell your home. That's memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546, and go Tigers.
Rick's Powder Coating, for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
If you, yes you, had designed the perfect place to have a cold drink, enjoy some conversation, and maybe catch a game, you probably would have designed something like Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect downtown neighborhood bar. You would have thought of a place where everyone is a grown-up, a place like Bell Tavern where you can do the thing you most want to do in a bar, relax, have an ice cold beer or a signature cocktail, and maybe make some new friends while enjoying the game. It's that simple. If you designed your kind of bar, you would have designed Bell Tavern.
Mike Golick Jr. here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Coming up from Los Angeles, the Chargers host the Eagles. Both teams are 8-4, but Philadelphia's dropped their last 2, and the Chargers are coming off a win but need another to stay close in their division race. My dad and I will cover the pregame, then Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner will have the call on Monday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Sports 56 traffic.
Well, good evening. It's busy right now. The normal spots out here, like 240 getting on to 385, continuing out towards Collierville. It's heavier than it was over here, 40 east, as you travel between Sycamore View Road and Germantown Parkway with that steady flow of traffic on 40 east headed on out into Fayette County. Hey, give the gift of clean this holiday season. Save 40% off right now. Zips Car Wash, gift cards and wash books, perfect stocking stuffers. Check them out, zipscarwash.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Here comes the
Hello again, everyone. I'm Howard Cosell. Welcome aboard. ABC's Monday Night Football.
Another Monday night football game. This time, Eagles and Chargers will have all the action right here on Sports 56. We'll have it starting at 7 o'clock right after Rebel Yell. So, should be a fun game tonight. Well, I don't even know what the line is. What's the line for tonight's game?
1.5.
Whoa, 1.5. Okay, all right. So
Eagles, 1.5 Eagles.
Yeah, no, I knew the Eagles were favored. I couldn't remember what the line was at. So yeah, so the road team favored in this one, and we'll see how it plays out. I'm excited for tonight's game. I think tonight should be a really fun Monday Night Football game.
Who needs it more?
Oh, I would say the Eagles need it more than just because of kind of what the last couple of weeks have been for them. I think everyone's kind of, in terms of perception, I think everyone's on the down, with the Eagles. So I would say it's very important for this Eagles team.
I'd be real careful bailing on the champs.
That is true, but I think we've already seen we can get burned by this group of the Eagles team. So I think people are scared it's going to happen again.
But they're not losing the East.
No, they're definitely not. I mean, that East is terrible this year, so they're very safe in the East.
Cowboys.
All right, Brett. All right, Brett.
Not me.
Brett. All right, let's calm down. That's our team. I don't know why we're jumping ship already.
Never been a Cowboy fan. Never.
No, never. Would never even think about it.
Never, ever. Never entered my mind to be a Cowboy fan. But this one tonight for Jalen Hurts. But the Chargers have plenty to play for.
Oh, definitely.
Right now, they're in the 6th spot. I don't know what the tiebreaker would do. They're not going to win the West. Denver's winning the West. We trust Denver.
I don't, but
who do we trust?
Nobody. The Chiefs, and they're not going to be in there this year.
No. Isn't that something? If they got in, they would be a tough out, but they're not getting in.
They're not. They're absolutely not. So I don't know who I trust.
Remember when we had the dalliance with the Colts?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's
now,
over.
That's definitely over, especially with that injury. So, I mean, I think I trust New England more than just about anybody else. So, and I wouldn't have said that 3 weeks ago.
I heard Eli Savoy say this morning, and it is stunning. The Kansas City Chiefs, they have the same record as the Miami Dolphins.
Wow.
Think about that.
Cow.
That was profound.
That is insane.
9:40 this morning, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, hey. A little early to be hearing that type of info.
You don't get those kind of profundities at 5:40.
Absolutely
you don't get that here.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Only two get at 9:40 for profound stuff.
I don't want to scare anybody while they're driving home from work.
Yeah.
Good Lord. That is something, though.
But the Chargers, they're the second tenant in that building, though, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
More Eagles fans tonight than Chargers.
It feels like it's always that way for Chargers games.
And right now, I think if the playoffs started today, they don't. You could get, I was looking at today, I guess it wasn't today, but 49ers and Rams at SoFi. 49ers fans always take it over.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, both those teams have kind of struggled to. Yeah, but neither have been there very long. But they've kind of struggled trying to put their footing in.
There's not any real teeth to it, is it?
No, not at all. No.
I mean, you kind of go for that building, and I'm going to get to that when beaming up tonight. Far as and whatever disdain and contempt that's out there in the sports world for Stan Kroenke, it's justified.
Yeah.
It's justified.
Yeah.
Horrible human.
Yeah.
He's made it work.
I was waiting for the but. Yeah, no, he has absolutely made it work. And that's it's beautiful stadium they have. And
I know it's grading is all get out to St. Louis people, but moving them back to L.A., he's made it work a million ways. A couple billion ways.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah.
I pulled a y'all tonight. I'm gonna go first. I've got a OLI.
Oh, I love it. I love
There we
it.
go.
Give me this OLI.
He's injured, and it's a lot of the reasons for the frustration, aggravation around the Eagles. He's not playing tonight, so I can't list him as one of the best 4 out there tonight, and that's the mission. Lane Johnson.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
So I go all Eagles. Number 4, Jordan Davis. Number 3, A.J. Brown. 2, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, MVP of the Super Bowl. And number 1, Saquon Barkley.
Whoa.
Wow.
How about that?
Not a single Charger cracking the
one.
list.
Not how my list looks.
Man, mine looks
Wow.
completely different too.
They're not a Charger. Won't be a Charger jersey on in the building tonight.
Well, that one super fan that the Chargers have.
They have one? Like one?
Brett, we don't know. I mean, some people think she's a real, true fan. Other people think she's a
She
plant
wants to
by the
get
NFL.
noticed.
And
She's trying to be the Jimmy Goldstein of the Chargers.
Yeah, so,
I can see right through that.
Yeah, well,
immediately.
I think a lot of people have seen through it. Wow, I don't know where to go. I mean, Landon, do you want to go next, or do you want me to? I don't.
Sure,
I'm kind of stunned right now.
I can go next. I'm keeping with my theme. I go 2 and 2.
You go 2 and 2.
with each one.
Do you have an OLI?
No, I do not have an OLI this go around. Kind of disappointed myself.
Thought we were gonna get a group block OLIs.
No group block on OLIs this go around. My number 4. I went with a very productive linebacker for the Eagles in Jalix Hunt. He actually leads the team in interceptions, a lot of tackle for losses. He's a very, very good player for them. Most everybody on this list is a very productive contributor. My number 3, I went with Ladd McConkey, and because I went with him at number 3, my number 2 is a guy who's currently beating him in yardage and being a receiver this year, Devonta Smith. And my number 1, Justin Herbert, one of the greatest regular season QBs known to man.
No Saquon Barkley on your list.
No Barkley. You can put him out as an OLI, but
insane.
he's
he rushed for 2K last year.
Yeah, that was last year. This year, this
but-
year not really living up to it. Jalen Hurts has more rushing touchdowns than he does.
yeah.
I mean, what are we doing here?
Well, I did not just do this season. I did kind of career as a whole for all of these guys. So I'll start with.
They're on the field right now.
Well,
huh?
I mean, that's true.
It's my
absolutely
list. Stop
That's
judging
it.
me.
Hey, I'm not judging your list. I'm not judging your list at all. So I'll start with my OLI. It is Cam Dicker, the kicker for the Chargers. Dicker, the kicker. He's one of the most well-known kickers in all of the league. He has been Brett. He's been automatic this year. I mean, perfect on point afters. He's, I think, only missed 2 field goals. So I mean, he is one of the better kickers in the league. OLI for me. So I didn't put him on my list. Let's not get up in arms about anything. He's just out there as an OLI. Got to give him credit. Number 4 for me, Keenan Allen, kind of on the towards the end of his career, but an unbelievable receiver, and I think can still give you a lot out there on the field. So he's number 4 for me. Number 3, I think the Eagles are doing him a disservice. I think he could help a team a lot more than he's helping the Eagles right now. That is A.J. Brown. Number 2 for me, Justin Herbert. And number 1 for me, I would say the best running back in the NFL right now, Saquon Barkley.
Eagles start getting hot after tonight. Tonight starts.
Tonight would certainly be the time to get hot. It'd be a good spot for them. Monday night, prime time, all eyes on you. You get the win and let that trampoline you. I think that'd be a good spot for them.
Nothing says holiday fun like driving home in a new All-Star Chevy. How about a new Traverse or Tahoe? Don't miss the Red Tag event going on right now. First thing in the morning in Olive Branch, right down Highway 78. Take that first exit, Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there with big customer cash. Financing as low as zero. That's as low as you can go. With your new 26 Silverado or Equinox, your good credit deserves it, and you get it from the great guys down at All-Star. Ask them about the extra $2,000 you can get on a new Colorado if you're driving one of the other mid-size trucks. Just throw that in there. First responders, military, instant extra $500 bonus back this Christmas and into the new year. Let's drive what we really want to drive, and that's something from All-Star Chevrolet. Huge selection of barely driven certifieds and the hottest pre-owns you'll find anywhere. If you got any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star, whether you bought it there or not, in Olive Branch, and get the most money back for it tomorrow. Drew DePriest and everyone at All-Star wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a happy 2026 and safe holiday travels and into the new year. For more information, you can always go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, Brett, your 4 Eagles list, it shocked me so much. We haven't even picked the game yet. We almost got to a break and didn't even pick the game tonight.
How'd we do that?
Well, I think it was your list that just caught us all off guard.
Well, I think the OLI but me stunned you to start.
That's exactly what it was.
I'm all Eagles, as you can tell.
Yeah, no, I can definitely tell that with your list. Landon?
Well, I'm siding with them. I think the Eagles roll on tonight. I'm going to go with them.
Group lot, Brian. Come on, I know you really love them.
This Eagles team is terrible. I mean, we're really seeing
8-4 is terrible.
We're seeing the true Eagles over the last 2 weeks of the season.
That's
it
Cowboy
continues
bitterness
tonight.
right there.
Sure is.
What in the world has this Eagles team done this year to deserve to be a road favorite? So have the Chargers. I mean, what have they done to be a 1.5 point favorite on the road? I mean, crazy. Give me the Chargers.
Boy, you hate the Eagles that bad.
Hey, look, and nothing about hate. I mean, look, I'm
strongly dislikes.
I am not biased at all. And
who would pull for the Cowboys, Landon? I'm glad I've never done that.
I couldn't imagine it.
Give me a break.
Certainly not me.
Whatever, but it should be a fun game tonight on ESPN. Again, you can listen to it right here on Sports 56. We'll have the coverage starting at 7 o'clock. Well, we need to wrap up today's show. Let's get to our final break. And when we return, we'll wrap up today's show with Moe's Crunch Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online ordering. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
When life crashes into you, literally, NST Law doesn't just show up with a briefcase. They show up with heart. They sit with families after devastating wrecks, look them in the eye, and say, "We've got you." No scripts, no legal jargon, just real people fighting for real justice. If someone turned your life upside down, NST helps you stand back up. They've been doing this for over 35 years and have won billions for their clients. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or go to nstlaw.com. Paradiso Cinema Grill and IMAX offers moviegoers a truly immersive cinematic experience, a way to enjoy movies like never before. IMAX's cutting-edge technology will make you believe you are part of the action. Get tickets to the Mid-South's premier IMAX theater, Malco.com.
Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20 plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
we're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need a crunchy bite to eat? Head to Moe's for nachos, crunch wraps, tacos, salads, and more. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Say you stand by your man. Tell me something.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight?
This is for all the biggest Crunch Time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Crunch Time between the hedges.
The ball game is over, and Memphis has its first win in 16 tries, its first win ever against its fierce in-state rival Tennessee.
It's obviously Crunch Time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need a crunchy bite to eat? Head to Moe's for nachos, crunch wraps, tacos, salads, and more. Moe's.com, it's your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies. Well, Brett, what I learned today is that Memphis football has officially announced Charles Huff as their next head coach. It was announced earlier this morning. It was first reported early Saturday morning, but needed to finish up some things before it was officially announced earlier today. Since then, the Memphis Tigers Twitter account has posted quotes from both Nick Saban and James Franklin about their thoughts on Coach Huff and what he can bring to Memphis. So when you have two really good college football coaches saying really good things about your head coach, I think you're in a good spot. He succeeded at both his stops as a head coach at both Marshall and Southern Miss. We just talked about Saquon Barkley. He was number one for both of us. That was his running backs coach in college at Penn State, Charles Huff. So he's coached some really good players. He's recruited some really good players, and he has won as a head coach. I think all things that you can even talk about with the head coach, I think Charles Huff was a great pick by Dr. Ed Scott. I think will be a really good coach for Memphis football.
I do too. What I learned, Bama was in no matter how bad they lost to Georgia. Mm-hmm. They were, on the tiebreaker, the SEC number one. So going into the SEC championship game, they were considered the number one. They looked awful. I can't imagine that Bama spent practice time on the lateral play. I've said enough about that, though. I'm gonna move on. But I can see them getting right for the Oklahoma game. But also, as I said, next year, first time Kalen DeBoer hits loss number 2, fire up the Dr. Pepper hot seat.
Yeah, no, I mean, good.
Cue the sign.
It's a good commercial, Brett. It is it's a really good commercial, but.
My favorite part of that commercial is the sign that says "Coach Better."
I mean, it's true. Coach better, but it's good for him that he made the playoffs, but it doesn't help him as much as he probably thinks it does. Because you're right, you lose 2 games next year, and things will change very, very quickly. What I could have done without news coming out earlier today that Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins is back in concussion protocol. He was just in concussion protocol. Oh, it was a great catch yesterday. But he just got out of concussion protocol. And now Adam Schefter tweeting about 10 minutes ago a joint statement from the NFL Players Association and the NFL. In the statement, it says that T. Higgins was evaluated twice during the game yesterday, was cleared both times to return to the game, and then afterwards, in a discussion with club medical personnel as part of a post-game evaluation, he notified the team he was experiencing symptoms and was immediately placed in concussion protocol. We've got to be really careful with those head injuries, and I hate seeing that he was evaluated twice, was able to go back in there, and is now right back in concussion protocol.
Now was that independent doctors that let him go back in, or team?
I I don't know. It doesn't say in this statement. I'm not positive. No, not good though.
I could have done without everybody kind of mad at JMU and Tulane. Don't be. It's the system and format that we agreed to for this year. They've done nothing wrong. But both of them might pull upset. Yeah. I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
But this should be the last year of this.
Yeah.
Get the best in.
I agree.
12, 14, 16, 94, 88, whatever.
No, I completely agree with that. Where are you beaming tonight?
Hollywood, near where Hollywood Park once stood and the Fabulous Forum once stood, near where Bruce Marshall grew up, where Stan Kroenke's grand edifice stands now. He may be despicable. No, he is despicable, but he's made it work with the Rams back in L.A. in that stadium. All the big events are going there.
Yeah, no, they absolutely are. You talk about, I would love to just find a list of all of the events in that stadium, because I'm sure it's just the can't miss. Oh, I mean, it is probably awesome. Being me, we got a pretty good NBA game tonight. Suns and Timberwolves. Suns 13-10 on the year. Timberwolves 15-8. This is the Peacock game tonight. Should be a fun one starting at 6:30.
Not so good with 3-21 New Orleans hosting San Antonio.
No, that's not going to be a great game. But good luck to them. Hope they all have fun. But it's going to be a fun night. We've got the NFL. Only 3 NBA games and only a handful of college basketball games tonight. So pretty slim for your choice of what to watch tonight. But it will be a lot of fun, especially that NFL game. Again, we'll have that game starting at 7 o'clock right here on Sports 56. That's all the time we have. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar-based. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to baste or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef, and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with the perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, the Rendezvous.